With that, the old pagoda didn't seem to be ready to stay, so he turned and left. However, Cloud Dance can't help raising eyebrows. Oh, a favor to the Cloud family? The old man looks like he is 80 or 90 years old on the surface, but he is estimated to be at least 100 years old or even older. What can he owe to the Cloud family? Even if it's human, it's from the previous generation. When he told her this time, he wanted to ask her to please him. However, it was obvious that the old man turned away, but he was not ready to say it. After half a ring, Cloud Dance converged the mental strength, but the brow was quiet. Because of the sudden appearance of the old tower, the detection before Cloud Dance was interrupted, but now it is obvious that there is no discovery. But Yunwoo found that the emptiness in this space disappeared at some time. I don't think so. What did the old man just do? While the clouds were dancing and meditating, a mechanical sound came from the sky. An hour has arrived. 500 points will be deducted. What? An hour has passed? Cloud Dance can't help but eyebrow a CU. How does she feel just come in 10 minutes or so? How does this just a moment pass? Looking at another light on the token, Yunwoo tightened his brow and became confused. Does time in this place pass faster than outside? However, Cloud Dance, unable to detect anything, chose to leave for the time being and wait for another time tomorrow. She was sure that the old man had just done something. However, in which grade did Yunwoo leave? Is she a freshman? She just it's from the 6th floor. She's on the 6th floor? Damn, the 6th floor needs to be deducted by almost 5 percentage points. How can such a freshman, isn't it? Is she the girl last night? This idea almost instantaneously flashed through the minds of the students present, adding a trace of surprise to the stunned eyes. Teenage first graders toppling third graders? Is it possible? This proportion seems to be too exaggerated. However, one by one, they watched her come up from the 6th floor. If she had won the entire junior division last night, it would not have been surprising that she had entered the 6th tier. After Yunwoo walked up the 5th floor, he just glanced at those people, then took back his sight and walked towards the 4th floor stairs. As for what they just discussed, she didn't feel much. However, they listened attentively to what they said about Wang Xian. When I left the 5th floor and went up to the 4th floor, I was almost the same as the 5th floor and attracted the eyes of the 4th floor students. Level 3, Level 2 when we got to the 2nd floor, the whole spacious space was almost full of people, and the dense people didn't pay attention to anything, so they just sat on the ground and entered the breathing. Few people paid attention to her. However, just as Yunwoo is ready to leave on the 1st floor, he accidentally catches Ling Feng and Xiao Zhu in the corner of his eye. They seem to know that there are many people, and they have chosen the platform with grooves on the wall for a long time. Just to person a position instead of competing with others. Cloud Dance swept a circle. Did not see the trace of that unintentional. What about others? After sweeping a circle, there was no shadow, so Yunwoo didn't look for it too much. After leaving the 2nd floor, returned to the 1st floor. However, when I saw the people who were more dense than the 2nd layer, I was really ashamed. It took almost half a column of incense time for her to get out of the crowd. Girl, why did you come out so early? In the afternoon, inside the tower is the most suitable time for cultivation. As soon as Yunwoo got out of the hole of the training tower, an old voice came from his ear. Following the voice, you can see the old pagoda in gray robes sitting on the stool at the entrance of the cave. I have something to do. Cloud Dance looked at the old tower and nodded politely. Although I don't know the details of the old man, his strength is enough for her to form a polite respect for him. What's the matter? He said with a kind smile. Can I help you? Yunwoo looked at him for a long time, then shook his head slightly.
It's just a little thing.
It won't bother the old tower. I'll do it first. With that, Yunwoo nodded politely and turned away. Looking at her leaving back, the smile on the old pagoda's face deepened a bit. However, in her wise eyes, it was still the enigmatic. Little girl, the vigilance is so high. On the way to the entrance of the training tower, you will see many students coming towards the whole training tower. Yunwoo, on the contrary, went towards the entrance of the college. After walking out of the college gate, Yunwoo thought that she could feel the abundant aura, but found that the aura of yesterday morning had disappeared. Strange. How can the thick aura disappear in one day? Yunwoo had a trace of doubt in his heart, but he didn't delay much at the door. As soon as his figure flashed, he went out to the forest. The elder pharmacist had taught her how to enter the array that day. Although it was late last night, she paid special attention to his step when he came out. After she got out of the woods, it took Yunwoo about half a column of incense time and finally came to the medicine garden. Boundless flower garden. The air is still that Chinran heart of flowers, sunny weather. No one was seen. Elder pharmacist? Is it there or not? It's like a loud call coming out of the air. After half a ring, it seems that the stone is sinking into the sea, but the elder pharmacist is still missing. Cloud Dance glanced at the big medicinal flower in front of her eyes and was thinking about whether to dig it now and throw it into Chaos Hall. You girl, you dare to leave the college without permission from the elder of the college. You are looking for death. A thick voice came from far and near. Immediately, the elder pharmacist with black hair and white beard came quickly. You are not the elder of the academy.
We should not sin to death.
Cloud Dance looks at that pharmacist elder coolmouth to say. Hearing her tone, the elder pharmacist seemed to feel guilty. Probably guessed that Yunwoo may have found the restriction of the token he gave her last night. However, the elder must be like an elder. He can't be counseled in front of his students. So, in the case of a little guilty, fortunately, he cleared his throat and asked in a coarse voice, Come on, what do you want to do this time? She can't steal his steps just to see him. There must be something wrong. Cloud Dance didn't even take out the token from his pocket and threw it away. Nothing, just want to give it back to you. Give it back to him? The pharmacist elder was stunned, and then he looked at Yunwoo with a tiny squint. Do you want to cancel the transaction between us? There's no way to cancel the deal. Cloud Dance and Light Path. Smell speech. The pharmacist elder breathed a sigh of relief. However, his tone was not completely relaxed, but Yunwoo's cool voice said again, You give me a token which is limited and can only be used at night. Then, I'll get you a half eye to lift the ban, so the transaction will be fair.
What?
Half an eye lifted? On hearing that, the elder pharmacist brushed the black line down his forehead. You girl, you really don't know what's good and what's bad. Do you know that it's unprecedented to let your freshmen enter the Kangwoo Pavilion? It took a lot of energy to get such a token, and you still forget it, say it. Then what do you want to do? Looking at Yunwoo's expression, the elder pharmacist was a little angry, but he still compromised first. Just look at the girl's temper. He's worried that when the time comes, he'll get him half an eye to lift the ban. The elder also knows that in the college, transactions need to be fair. Since this token is limited to little use, you can give me another kind of compensation. What is useless? Even if the token is limited to the night, it's also very precious. But when it comes to her mouth, it's all changed. The elder pharmacist stared at her, frowning like a caterpillar. Half ring. Just hear his mouth. What compensation? The shortcut to inner college. However, Yunwoo's words made the pharmacist elder's face sink in an instant. How to get in and out. Did he hear right? This time, the pharmacist elder didn't have the good expression he just had. His whole face was so cold that it was terrible. His eyes were fixed on Yunwoo, as if he were looking at some outlaw. And Cloud Dance, for this reaction of pharmacist elder, it seems no accident. This is because the inner college not only defends itself with array, but also sets up a lot of isolation circles. Under such a tight situation, I certainly don't want people to know how to enter the inner college easily. In other words, the inner college wants to protect something closely. That's why, when Cloud Dance just appeared, the pharmacist Presbyterian council cheered her and left the college without the Presbyterian's permission. If Yunwoo's estimation is correct, I'm afraid most of the students in the college don't know how to leave the college without a tutor. However, Yunwoo believes that there must be a shortcut to get in and out of the inner college. Of course, only the elders who know this shortcut will know. Cloud Dance put forward this time, but also more or less expected the reaction of the Presbyterian Council. What did you say? Say it again. The pharmacist elder stares at Yunwoo, and his eyes are solemn and cold. Cloud Dance looked at the pharmacist elder and sighed. Elder doesn't have to be so nervous. Can you listen to me first for such reasons? The pharmacist elder's face is still not very good-looking, and his majesty stares at her. Yunwoo consciously explained to himself, when my father sent me to the college, he asked me to go to his old military home in the south to do something for him. But as soon as I entered the college, I happened to run into the quota contest of the college. But I had to take part in the contest first. Unexpectedly, I didn't know until I entered the college. It was less than 3 years and 5 years it's not without the college.
So, I'll ask you that.
If it's not convenient for the elder to say a shortcut, just give me a token to pass into the college. I'll come back when I finish my work. When Yunwoo said this, he really took out a token from his arms and handed it up. And that token is exactly the military amulet that Yunlingyi gave her at the beginning. The pharmacist elder took it and looked at the token in his hand. Are you from General Yun's mansion? The unique military symbol of the Yunjia army above is a sign of identity.
Yunwoo nodded. Yes.
I'm the 9th oldest in my family. It should be in the college records. In fact, as far as the pharmacist is outside, he probably doesn't have the heart to understand her background. It's not surprising. Then what does your father want you to do? Pharmacist elder stares at Cloud Dance to ask away. I can't wait to heal his deputy. Yunwoo met him and said it seriously. Of course, the reason is made up. However, after hearing the words, the elder pharmacist narrowed his eyes and stared at Yunwoo. Does your father want you to heal his deputy? How can this sentence be so awkward? Well, I happen to know something about medicine. Just you little girl. What else do you know about medicine? The pharmacist elder's eyes flashed with disbelief. The cloud dances to smell speech, but the corner of the mouth suddenly outlines. If the elder doesn't believe it, then I will show it for the elder. However, before she had finished her words, a few little chills had passed by. Very fast. Almost didn't give that pharmacist elder reaction to come over of at present, the silver needle already toward elder body of several big acupoints, but go. A slight pain in the arm made the elder pharmacist frown. But soon, a sense of surprise flashed through the eyes. Maybe, a few needles can't be seen by others. However, for pharmacists who understand pharmacology and some medical techniques, they know very well what the definition of the acupuncture technique is. This girl, at a young age, not only knows the art of heart control, but also knows the art of silver needle therapy. When the elder pharmacist was a little stunned, the cloud dance hand brushed, and the suction immediately took back the silver needle on the elder pharmacist. I haven't been in good health since I was a child, so I learned all kinds of medical skills from my master, and I've achieved a lot in the past 10 years. My father hopes to take a look at his deputy, who is so sick that even military doctors can't do anything about it. Originally, I should have gone there a few days ago, but I took part in the election contest, which delayed me a few days. If the pharmacist elder is still not at ease, or you will go to foreign college with me. My father should still be in Lingqing. At the beginning, he said that he would wait for me in Lingqing for a few days. Why is it that you are not red and breathless when talking about lies? Just look at the specimen of Yunwoo. The pharmacist elder looked at Yunwoo and listened to her words, so he believed it more or less. It's just that the fact of getting her out of college. Why don't you come with me, elder? I heard that the small village on the southern border is not far from here. If there are flying beasts, it won't take much time. Cloud Dance suddenly suggested. The elder pharmacist was silent. Finally, he nodded. If you give her a token to go out because of her words, you can't, but it's feasible to go with her. Girl, after going with you, you can't talk to me about the token again. Before leaving, the pharmacist elder did not forget to remind him. After Yunwoo took the token back from him, he grinned and nodded. Don't worry, don't mention it. When you get all the medicinal materials, I will relieve it for you immediately. Hearing that, the elder pharmacist was relieved. The lion carving beast, under the control of the elder, comes from the white cloud with a whistle. After Yunwoo and the elder pharmacist jumped behind the carving beast, they quickly flew away. However, this time, instead of going down to the outer college, he went directly to the south. When he flew out of a certain distance, the carving beast fell rapidly, landing in a forest. Is that even out? Yunwoo looks at the forest and seems to feel that it is still within the scope of the inner college. But the pharmacist elder glanced at her and said in a thick voice, "Where's the inner college so easy to get in and out? You girl, just follow me." "What are you doing?" The cloud dance hears the speech, naturally also shut up. However, from the beginning to the end, she has been paying attention to his pace, behavior, and even any small changes. After landing, they walked instead. Through a row of woods, we finally saw the main road. "Girl, where is your father's army in the southern border town?" After walking out of the forest, the elder pharmacist asked the cloud dance. "I'm not sure. When we get to the border city, it should be easy to find it." "In fact, where do you know cloud dance?" When Yunlingi gave her this token, she said that it was in the southern border town. She really didn't know where it was. However, when we get to the border city, we may be able to use the signal bomb of Yunqi and her. "I think we can find it." The elder pharmacist was depressed when he heard the words. However, it seems that this girl is not a liar. At last, she will go with her. After going on that avenue, he completely walked out of the array isolation area of the inner college, and the pharmacist elder and Yunwoo went directly to the sky. If you walk, it's estimated that you can't reach the border city even when it's dark. However, the pharmacist elder soon found that this girl's strength had reached the stage of martial saint. When I found this at the beginning, I almost let the elder pharmacist fall from the air. Wishing. Is the strength of this girl a martial saint? What a frightening thing that is. He has been working hard for a long time. It took him almost all his life. He is just Wuzun. She's only a teenager. Don't blame him for his nervousness. He has never thought that a teenage girl should be a strong one who has reached the realm of wuxing. No one believes that. What kind of genius is this girl? For the first time, the pharmacist elder looked at the girl with the elder's eyes. It was also the first time that he had an impulse to know more about her. Because the border city is not far away from the mausoleum city. After flying for about an hour, Yukong finally arrived at the so-called border city. It's a border city adjacent to the kingdom of En. Although it's two neighboring cities, the town has been very quiet over the years. Without the smoke of war, cities and towns gradually developed and prospered. When Yunwoo and the elder pharmacist came to the town, they could see many caravans of the two countries going in and out. But Cloud Dance did not choose to enter the city, but just outside the city, released a signal bomb of Cloud Home. Although Yun Shi said that the people of the Yin family would appear when they saw the signal bomb, what he said at that time seemed to be in Lingqing. I don't know if it works in this border city. Wait a minute. All of a sudden, a man in a city guard's uniform rushed out of the city. When he came to the position where the signal bomb was sent out, he saw Yunwoo and the pharmacist elder. He looked at him a little and finally spoke. "Who just sent out the signal bomb of the Cloud family?" The man's eyes were sharp and his steps were steady. He could see that he was a well-trained military officer. "It's me. I'm Miss Yun Jiajiu. My name is Yunwoo." Cloud Dance looked at the man and said. The man smells speech. Vision then lock on Cloud Dance body. The rumor that Miss Yun Jiajiu is a waste and ill has been heard more or less. When she saw that Yunwoo's face was slightly morbid, she was convinced. However, when she was wearing the uniform of Samurai Academy, he was a little surprised. When the man looked at her in silence, Yunwoo took out the military order card. "My father gave this to me a few days ago. He asked me to come to Yunjiajin to have a look. I don't know where it is. Can you take us there?" When Yunwoo raised the military order card, the man who was still in doubt suddenly turned pale. Immediately, his eyes changed into the eyes of soldiers, and his breath also changed into a kind of straight air. Chaoyan Dance clasped his hands and answered respectfully, "Yes. Miss Nine, please follow me." The man led the way and did not enter the city. Instead, he walked towards the woods outside the city. Through the woods, it was like a valley, and the boundary was more hidden. There are at least a dozen secret sentries inside and outside. When seeing the man with Yunwoo and the pharmacist elder enter, Yunwoo vaguely hears several bird-like sounds. That should be signaling. After a while, as soon as I approached a canyon road, I saw several soldiers coming out of the canyon. The man walking in front of him murmured to the soldiers first, and then saw one of them return quickly. Not a moment. I saw a man in general's uniform, leading more than a dozen generals, coming quickly. However, when I saw Yunwoo and the pharmacist elder on the canyon road, there was a loss in his eyes. Presumably, they thought it was Yunlingi. It's Miss Yun Jiajiao, isn't it? Inside, please, the general didn't come forward, so he stood in that position and asked for a little bow. In the eyes of soldiers, they are loyal to the generals they identify. Although Yunwoo came here with Yunlingi's military order card, in the eyes of these people, they were just relatives of their general. It's natural to be polite. Cloud Dance didn't care about these, so he went in with the pharmacist elder. After entering the canyon, I didn't see a large number of troops, just a few small teams patrolling, and some guards on duty. In addition to that, a special open space should be the military training ground. At the bottom of the valley on the right, there are wooden houses row by row, at least more than 100. On the left side, there is a big fish pond and a large-scale plantation, which is surrounded by mountains on 3 sides and dense and steep woods on one side. It seems that this should be a reserve camp or an independent cloud army set up by Yunlingi himself, because Yunwoo noticed that the flag in the barracks belonged to the Cloud family. Just as the Cloud danced around and looked at the camp, the general had just stepped forward. I don't know. What's the matter with Miss Nine coming to the barracks today? Or does the general have a mission to come down? Speaking of the latter sentence, the general's voice was obviously a little excited, and the generals behind him were also a little excited. As a soldier, the greatest hope is to go to the battlefield to kill the enemy and serve the country faithfully. But they have been silent for a long time. However, without waiting for Yunwoo to answer, the pharmacist elder beside Yunwoo asked, "Is there a famous deputy general in your camp injured?" The cloud dances to smell speech. The heart claps dang for a while. Well, she almost forgot the lies she told not long ago. In fact, she just wanted to know how to get out of the inner college. By the way, she wanted to see what kind of existence the Cloud Army was so that she could have a bottom in mind ahead of time. But unexpectedly, after the old man came to the barracks, the first sentence he said was this. She was caught off guard for a moment. Just as Yunwoo was thinking hard about how to reply, the general was surprised and said, "How do you know?" Is that really the case? In fact, although the elder pharmacist didn't say much along the way, he still had a little doubt in his heart. But hear this, the heart pour is to settle. See, this wench really didn't lie. However, where did he know that Yunwoo was sweating in his heart? This time, the blind cat hit the dead mouse. "Girl, tell me about you." After the elder pharmacist confirmed that it was true, he didn't intend to say anything more, but threw the problem back to Yunwoo. When the clouds dance and hear the words, they naturally connect with each other. "Well, my father told me a few days ago that he wanted me to come and have a look at it, but I just entered the college a few days ago, so I was delayed for a few days." The general felt as if they were excited. Did the general mention it? When will the general come? He doesn't think he can come for the time being, Cloud Dance said. I saw that the general and several generals, just excited and subsided, their eyes were a little gloomy. However, since he let me have a look, naturally, he has another meaning. You just need to do your duty well and wait for the day in your mind. Cloud Dance suddenly said a sentence. And her words, "But let that gloomy general and general are all in a daze." Can't help looking at the Cloud Dance, as if thinking about her words and the meaning. Well, we need to go back to the college later. Where is the deputy general? Take me to have a look. Cloud Dance sighed, head looks to that general to say. At this time, the general just responded like, "Deputy General Chun is in the convalescent area. This way, Miss Nine, please." Deputy General Chun? How did she feel so familiar with that address? However, without waiting for Yunwoo to ask more, the general took Yunwoo and the elder pharmacist to the camp. The so-called sanatorium is just a few more remote and quiet houses in the barracks. However, when Yunwoo saw Deputy General Chen, he could not help frowning. Because, isn't that Deputy General Chen, who was the Deputy General beside Yunlingyi, who had been abandoned by Yunwoo on the battlefield outside the north? It's like Chunling. However, Cloud Dance now see Chunling, but compared with the original arrogant Lingran appearance, it is 100,000, 8,000 miles. With a beard and a mess. One hand was abandoned, while the other hand was wrapped with a thick layer of gauze. In addition, the other foot seemed to be wrapped with gauze. Just when Yunwoo and others pushed the door in, he seemed to want to get up from the bed. But as soon as he saw so many people approaching, his face didn't look very good. He quickly turned his head to the other side.
Who?
Who let them in? Let them out. He used to be a close aide to a general, but now he's a complete loser. This embarrassed appearance, with his self-esteem pride, really can't bear to let others see. Chunling, it's the general who specially sent someone to see you. Hearing the 3 words of general, Chunling had obvious physical signs. But soon, his eyes were gloomy and drooped. I'm fine. As long as you give me a period of time, I'll get better myself so that the general doesn't have to worry about me. I can do it. Yes. He is such a useless man, but he still looks proud. Can he get better? Cloud Dance see here, already in the heart some can't help but want to sneer. She naturally remembers how Chunling's behavior angered her at the beginning, which led him to be so proud of his superior self-esteem. Unexpectedly, at this time, he is still the same. When Yunwoo saw this, she wanted to turn around and leave. However, at this time, the corner of her eyes was swept to the corner of the room. A sleeping purple leopard cub was nestled in the corner. It's just looking at the baby leopard, Yunwoo almost subconsciously walked towards the baby leopard. When he saw the black spot on the forehead of the leopard, Yunwoo couldn't help picking his eyebrows. This little leopard is one of the 2 little leopards that she delivered to her mother at the beginning? Why is it here? It's more than half a year to calculate the time. But the leopard didn't grow up much, and its whole body only looked the size of a football. What's going on? However, Yunwoo soon felt the weakness of its breath. He reached out and picked it up from the nest. How can you be so weak? Didn't you feed it? Cloud danced in the small leopard into the arms, the spirit of the detection to go, but also asked aside. Chunling on the bed saw Yunwoo's behavior of holding the baby leopard, and suddenly her eyes became anxious. You let it go. It's mine. You don't want to touch it. The cloud dances and hears words, but turns a deaf ear to them. Under the mental detection, it was found that the baby leopard was obviously malnourished, and the wound on its little foot was obviously infected. Cloud Dance opened the gauze on its leg. The blood has stopped, but the wound is pus. Are the military doctors here really so bad? How can such a small bitten wound be treated so simply? When Yunwoo saw the wound, she frowned slightly. Do you have a military doctor here? Yunwoo turned his head and asked the leading general. Yes. Let him come over. Cloud Dance said calmly. And her words, but let the people present are lung for a while, but immediately, many people are instantly frown. How can she talk to their general like this? The general frowned, but he didn't say anything, so he asked a soldier at the door to call the doctor. The military doctor came in a hurry. I thought it was Deputy General Chen. What's the matter? But as soon as he arrived, Deputy General Chen was fine, but a young girl came to him with the leopard in her arms. Did you deal with the wound? Cloud Dance walked over and looked at the slightly thin middle-aged man, who was also the military doctor of the camp. Yes. What's the problem? Looking at Yunwoo, the only military doctor in the barracks nodded. Medicine is not good. Cloud Dance also said directly face to face. Not surprisingly, as soon as the words came out, the military doctor was dissatisfied.
What?
I'm not good at medicine? You little girl, do you know how many injured people I cured? No one in the whole camp would say that I'm not good at medicine. Cloud Dance smells speech, but can't help but hook up the corner of the mouth. Cold glance at him, is it? Have you ever asked the wounded man who died in your hands?
What?
The military doctor was stunned when he heard the words, but then his face suddenly became black and angry. Where are you from, girl?
What do you mean by that?
Do you want to say that our military doctor is a quack? You are so bold. Cloud Dance looked at the angry military doctor, eyes deep cold. Quack? This word is overestimated when it is used on you. It's really strange that you can become a military doctor here because of your medical skills that can't even reach the third rate. Even the most basic treatment of wounds are not good. Such people can become military doctors, do not have to think about how to get in. It seems that there are some external corruption in the Cloud Army. If you really want to take over, you need to clean it up first. But when the military doctor heard that, his face became angry. It was a big insult to be said by a little girl in front of the generals. What's more, he did use some bribes when he entered the barracks here. Well, you girl, I think you are in trouble to find our military doctor.
Who are you?
One side of the generals looking at the scene cannot help but frown. What's going on? Is Miss Yunjiu really trying to find fault? Although there is only one military doctor in the barracks for such a long time, if there is any injury in the barracks, it is also handled by the military doctor, which has been very good. However, without waiting for Yunwu to speak, a nearby general said something. This is the daughter of the general, Miss Nine. And just that one face angry military doctor smells speech, alone. But immediately, the eye ground flashed a clear. The face is still not very similar. It turned out to be Miss Nine, but even Miss Nine in the general's army needs to pay attention to the occasion and her identity. This is a military camp, and I'm a military doctor. Who else knows medicine better than me here? If Miss Nine doesn't have any orders, the little one will leave first. There are still many wounded soldiers in the back who need me with that. The military doctor arched his hand to the cloud, led the medicine box, and was ready to turn and leave. This kind of behavior is absolutely arrogant. The Cloud Dance sees this, the eye ground coldly smile. However, he didn't say anything, but with a flick of his hand, a strong breath was directly released in public, and in the twinkling of an eye, the medicine box on the shoulder of the military doctor was sucked in the air. The sudden pulling force made the military doctor fall back and sit on the ground. But without waiting for the military doctor to react, Yunwu waved his hand and opened the medicine box. There are some medicine bottles and small medical tools inside. Cloud Dance glanced at, directly took out a fine small knife with a rough modulation of anesthesia powder. Turning around, he went to the small table in the house. With a flick of his hand, he swept the tea set on the table to the ground in public, leaving only a candlestick. What does she do? The generals, who have been watching silently, look at Yunwu with their faces slightly condensed. They really don't understand what she is doing. However, when the pharmacist saw her take out the anesthetic and knife from the medicine box, her eyebrows raised. Is that girl? After leaving the table, Yunwu put the baby leopard on the table, put it to sleep with anesthetics powder, then picked up the path and put it on the candlelight to bake. After disinfection with fire, Yunwu didn't hesitate. On the spot, she only scraped the knife into the purulent leg of the baby leopard. What? Seeing this, the generals on the spot frowned. When the military doctor who just got up on the ground saw it, she suddenly became stunned. She was, however, seeing this. Chenling on the bed began to shout angrily, "What are you doing? Let it go." Cloud Dance turns a deaf ear. The action in the hand is quick and delicate. The action is extremely familiar and sensitive. The knife falls under the mouth, almost directly scrapes the meat thick to clean. Indoor, a little stinky smell of blood, gradually diffuse and open. However, looking at this scene of the public, but it seems to be silent down, not immediately staring at Yunwu that move. At first, maybe others could not see what she was doing, but when she got to the back, she was surprised one by one. Looking at the pharmacist elder, I couldn't help being surprised. Look at this girl's technique. It's definitely not the first time to use a knife. However, as a teenager, she didn't even frown when dealing with this situation. She is so neat. What kind of teacher taught her? In fact, this kind of most direct dispelling operation is very simple for Cloud Dance. It's only half a fragrant time, and the Cloud Dance has stopped bleeding, and then the dressing is finished. He went to the basin in the corner of the room and washed his hands with water. Then Yunwoo turned his head and looked at the military doctor, who was a little surprised. Now, do you want to continue to discuss with me who knows medicine? Or get out of here by yourself? Indifferent voice, not warm fire, said, but I do not know why, listen to anyone's ears, but are so majestic pride. The military doctor's face flashed with embarrassment. Seeing that Yunwoo had just used the knife, if the military doctor still couldn't see it, he really came to be a quack and couldn't match a word. However, he was so publicly compared by a little girl and scolded so shamelessly, so that he would have no face to mix in the barracks in the future. Even if you know how to cure a little beast, what's the difference? That's because I'm busy these days, and I don't have time to pay attention to that little beast. That's why Miss Nine just meets this opportunity. However, if Miss Nine is really capable, just a few days ago, several soldiers in the barracks were seriously injured. If you can cure all the wounded soldiers in the barracks, then I'll convince you. Although this barracks has not been on the battlefield for many years, there must be a wound in the barracks for training or hunting on that steep mountain. Just a few days ago, a group of small soldiers who went hunting suddenly encountered a group of poisons in the forest, which caused several soldiers seriously injured and poisoned. So far, he has nothing to do. Since this little girl bumps into me at this time, it's better to let her eat. He didn't believe it. Just because she knew how to use some medicine and use a knife, she could cure the poison wound that even he couldn't do anything about. Hearing the words of the military doctor, the general could not help frowning. Dr. Lee, don't go too far. Although, just now, some of them were slightly surprised because of Yunwoo's operation behavior. How can they say that it was just a teenage girl who could make fun of the soldiers' lives? The man who was called Dr. Lee Jun suddenly raised his smile and looked at the general. General, you have just seen Miss Jio's medical skills. Why don't you let her have a try? She dares to speak so loudly. Naturally, she has some confidence. Otherwise, others really think that I am a quack doctor of Li Feng. Is this a time for fighting? Cloud danced at this time, but also slightly hook lips raised. Since my father has temporarily given this camp to me, I have no problem to see, but if I prove that you are a quack, what should you do? What? The general taught her the camp? When Li Feng heard the speech, his brow was obviously wrinkled. The generals on one side also changed their faces, and a wave of doubt rose from the bottom of their eyes. But looking at Yunwoo's eyes, Li Feng felt that his self-esteem was provoked, and he bit his gums. Well, if you can really cure those soldiers, I'll quit the title of military doctor and leave the barracks. As soon as these words came out, the generals objected. Dr. Lee, what do you say? Camp Lee, that's not nonsense. Cloud Dance smells speech, immediately grin. Good, this words but you say? Li Feng twisted his eyebrows, but still straight. Li Feng said it. After leaving Chunling's room, Li Feng takes Yunwoo to another regional barracks. There is a difference between a soldier and a deputy general. There is no separate room. Back to open the door of one of the barracks, a strong smell of medicine accompanied by a smell of blood came to my face. It really smelled bad. However, those generals didn't dislike it at all, which surprised Yunwoo. As soon as I entered the barracks, I saw 6 soldiers, all lying on a datong shop. Their faces were black and purple, and they were all covered with gauze. It seemed that they were making a dull hum in pain. And there are 2 soldiers who are taking care of them. When Li Feng and all the generals came in, the 2 soldiers immediately came forward with a respectful call and then stepped aside. After entering the room, Li Feng naturally walked towards the 6 soldiers and looked at their faces. After that, he turned his head and looked at Yunwoo. Come and have a look. The wounds are mostly on the legs and arms. At the beginning, they are just very small wounds, but these days, the wounds have begun to fester. When he said that, Li Feng untied the gauze on one of the soldier's arms, revealing the festering wound. He should use the antidote, anti-inflammatory, and even the medicine to expel the strong, but he didn't see any good. On the contrary, the toxicity seems to spread more and more. Listening to what Li Feng said, Yunwoo also glanced at the man's wound and frowned, because she found that the wound was the same as that on the leg of the cub. At that time, she didn't see any poisoning on the leg wound of the baby leopard. How could these people, what was it that bit them? Cloud Dance looked at the wound and asked. Small wound, 3 small holes, not like a snake, but what animal can bite the wound of 3 small holes? Li Feng smell speech, slant head to see eye Cloud Dance. Just way. Spider. Spiders? Is the wound that spider bites 3 small holes? However, this strange creature is too strange. After hearing the words of Cloud Dance, it didn't tangle with those too much. Instead, he reached for the soldier's hand. But when she detected, her brow was more tightly knit. Pulse condition shows that fatigue, weakness, malnutrition, and even some palpitations exist. But it wasn't poisoned. There's no need to feel the pulse, because the wound is on the arm. When the hand pulse comes out, it's weak, and there's no poisoning phenomenon. But if you look at their faces, you can see that these soldiers are deeply poisoned. When Li Feng saw the Cloud Dance, he could not help but remind him. After hearing the words, Yunwoo was silent. Yes, it seems that the poison has entered the 5 internal organs, but why does the hand pulse show no sign of poisoning? What's going on? Is it true that even her medical skills are useless? It was Nganji once before, but this time, girl, it's not poisoning. They're just being poisoned. At this time, the voice of Bai Lao rang out in my mind. What's wrong with you? Zhonggu? What is it? Cloud Dance smell speech. Can't help but in the heart quickly asked White Old One. In modern times, she had heard about Gu, but she had never really seen it. Bai Lao seemed to be silent for a moment, and then his voice came back. It's Black Gu, which comes from the dark faction of the Wu clan. However, as far as I know, Gu Shu belongs to the more evil one, and the Wu clan was forbidden to practice a long time ago. But here, there is Black Gu, which means that someone is practicing Gu Shu. However, the witch clan was destroyed as early as 10 years ago. Who is the one who practices the magic trick? Cloud Dance, after hearing Browlock, naturally also thought of White Old did not say that afterward. There's no way to solve this black bug? Cloud Dance Dynasty, White Old inquiry asks away. The White Old man in the necklace frowned. Wait a minute. I'll look through the ancient books and find out if it's useful. While Mr. Bai was checking, Yunwoo put away her hand and looked up at Li Feng. Where are the places where they were attacked by poison? Li Feng smell speech, looked at her. Out of the door of the east, that steep forest depth, you ask this do? If you want to find an antidote in the place where the poison occurs, you don't have to, because I've been there, no. Yunwoo looks at Li Feng, but the coldness of his eyes has subsided. Although Li Feng is very proud, he seems to work hard for these soldiers. However, at this time, the voice of Bai Lao in my mind has come. Girl, the only way to get rid of the poisonous insects is to take them out of the body. Judging from the appearance of these soldiers, they may have entered the internal organs. Into the viscera? Hearing this, Yunwoo's face was not very good. If it's poison, it can be forced out from the 5 Zongfu organs, but it's necessary to take poisonous insects from the 5 Zongfu organs. I'm afraid even if she can have the operation ability, there are no operation conditions here. What's more, even if there are conditions under her operation, these weak soldiers don't know if they can survive.
How to do it well.
The cloud dances the meditation of frown to get up, in the mind the quick turn. But it's half past. Yunwoo is still sitting on the edge of the bed, frowning and motionless, like thinking. But the people on the scene will not really think that she has that ability. Li Feng then said, well, it seems that Miss Nine can't help it, so please leave. Don't disturb the patient's rest here. However, as soon as Li Feng's words fell, Yunwoo's mind flashed, and his eyes flashed. General, I need a clean space for people to prepare a room for me to come out. Besides some of the things I said, please remember and wait for a moment. They are ready for me, by the way. Yunwoo stood up and said everything he needed. After that, Yunwoo looks at the pharmacist elder. Elder, do me a favor. What's up? The pharmacist elder looked at Yunwoo. He saw a light in her eyes. Did she think of a way to treat this girl? I have some herbs here. Please make them for me because I need to go out and prepare something. When the words fall, the cloud dance hands brush on the table to one side, and several advanced healing herbs appear immediately. Space container. The people on the scene saw Yunwoo's behavior and were surprised to see that there was a space container on her. However, the color of greed is not in the eyes of these people. Immediately, Yunwoo looked at Li Feng. Before I come back, you ask people to move them to the clean space prepared by the general. With that, Yunwoo ignored the other people's puzzled expression and went out. What does she want to do? Is there really a way to detoxify those soldiers? All the generals watched Yunwoo leave. All of them were puzzled, but they still asked people to prepare what she just said. After Yunwoo left, he didn't go anywhere but went directly to the place where weapons were made in the camp. It is necessary for an independent military camp to have an armory for making weapons. It's just that Yunwoo doesn't come here to find things, but to make things. It took Yunwoo an hour to build a set of professional surgical tools. However, the tools made of iron are still insufficient, such as surgical forceps. However, in her hands, these are enough. After that, Yunwoo left in the eyes of the soldiers. Back to the barracks. Yunwoo needs almost everything, and Li Feng and the elder pharmacist are waiting for her. As for the generals, they seem to want to see what she wants to do. People have moved the barracks next door. What are you going to do next? Li Feng stares at Yunwoo and asks. Cloud Dance looked at him one eye, also direct way. Give them treatment. You come to give me a hand. Elder, please come and help me. When he said this, Yunwoo also said to the elder pharmacist. The pharmacist elder is very curious about what this girl took over. After hearing this, he will not nod his head. Yunwoo asked them to take the prepared things and go to the next room. However, the leading general said, I'll go and have a look. Yunwoo looked at the general and said with a smile, I don't object to the general coming, but only if you don't disturb me. Language false. Cloud Dance also turned round to go out the door. He left the general to look at the generals, but he still followed. Although I think the girl's tone is really hard, they still want to see with their own eyes what she wants to do. The next room is similar to the one just now. However, the 6 soldiers were still on the big bed. Seeing this, Yunwoo had no choice but to shake his hand. But there's nothing for those people to prepare. In public, a blue ring flashed, and the blue light flashed in an instant. I saw that under the blue light, the breath of the whole room suddenly dropped rapidly, and just when everyone was shocked, the blue Yu figure had appeared in front of Yunwoo. Master. It's a cold voice.
Master?
At the moment, everyone in this room, including the pharmacist elder, was stunned. Summoner? She's a summoner? At this moment, everyone on the scene looks silly and stares at Lan Yu. At the bottom of his heart, he is shocked. Just Cloud Dance let Blue Yu come out is not to let them one by one silly eye. Close it up for the time being. By the way, get a table. Cloud Dance toward Blue Yu say. Blue Yu hears speech. Also at the same time the ice swept one eye all around. Just as he could see, a layer of white ice came out of the 4 walls. The temperature that had been lowered was just like entering the ice cellar at this moment. Finally, at this moment, Zheng was stunned by the cold back to God. What is this? Do you call the beast? Miss 9, are you the summoners? You. Slow gods instantaneous. The generals can't help but wonder at Cloud Dance asked. But obviously, the timing is not right. After sealing the whole space, Lan Yu blows his hand toward the ground, and an ice platform suddenly rises. After that, Lan Huqi's hand flicks and moves one of the people on the bed to the ice. All right. Well, you stand by and touch him when I call you. Yunwoo explained the matter. Lan Yu nods. At this time, Yunwoo turned to look at Li Feng, who is still in a daze. What are you doing? Come here and untie his clothes for me. Untie your clothes? What does she want to do in this cold? However, Li Feng started to take off the man's coat. And then, what else needs to be done? Do it. What do you want to do? What do you mean? But soon, Li Feng understood what that meant. but what he took over was enough to make his face change. Even the elder pharmacist's face changed slightly. Because, after asking the pharmacist elder to use the medicine, Yunwoo directly cut the soldier's wound on the spot, and then cut the soldier's chest and abdomen, almost peeling off his body. The black blood is still beating the viscera, with the black silk like a spider web cut off layer by layer, peel off layer by layer. This scene has made the onlookers' faces pale, almost to the point of vomiting. Is she saving people or killing people? It's horrible. It's disgusting, but don't give them a chance to disturb at all. Under the cloud dance's eyes, Lanuel frees them into a popsicle and stand there one by one conscious, but is unable to move, can only look at the cloud dance abdominal surgery scene. Although they were all generals who went to the battlefield to kill the enemy, they had seen countless scenes. However, no one has ever seen the scene of breaking people's body and turning over the viscera. His face is so white that he wants to vomit in his stomach. Unfortunately, they just wanted to come in and watch. Cloud Dance directly provides them with a very good position angle, which is absolutely enough for them to see clearly. Clean up the black silk of spider web in your body, and then it's business. That's the insect. With spider characteristics, the insect will love the corner. It took Yunwoo quite a long time to find out from the bloody viscera. To tell you the truth, it also needs to thank her for having a pair of eyes that have become the 7th level of mind control skills. Otherwise, it is hard to find out. After twice freezing, Lanyu finally took out the insect without injuring any liver. It's small. It's not big enough. However, Yunwoo noticed that even under the ice, the insect still had a strong life force. After taking it out, Yunwoo directly teaches it to Lanyu. In his hands, the frozen ones stop. Li Feng's pale face flashed a strange color when he saw the insect that Yunwoo took out. But soon, it was covered up. Yunwoo naturally saw it, but he didn't ask about it. Instead, after taking it out and confirming that there was no residual poisonous silk, he sewed it up. It is mainly made of silver needles with double seams inside and outside. Of course, if you take out the poisonous insects, you can simply shave and bandage the wound. It's been more than 2 hours to find an operation. Because there are 5 people behind, Cloud Dance did not slow down, strike while the iron is hot. The action repeats from afternoon to evening, from evening to morning, sunset, and sunrise. When Yunwoo finally stopped, it was 2 days later in the afternoon. The freezing thawed, and the temperature rose. Under the healing of the water element, the 6 people on the bed have gradually calmed down. After Yunwoo was sure that it was okay, he stretched out his waist and looked at Li Feng and the pharmacist elder. There should be nothing more. Let's have a rest. However, when he looked at the generals in the corner, whose lips and teeth were purple and their teeth were shaking like fighting, Yunwoo could not help raising the corners of his mouth. Let the kitchen get you some ginger soup. Don't catch a cold. As soon as Yunwoo said this, the generals seemed to react and walked towards the thawed door with stiff feet. What they need now is not ginger soup, but quilts. It's too cold. It's so cold that they lose their strength to speak. All the surprises and shocks are afterwards. Now they just want to get warm. Just after they left, Li Feng looked up at Yunwoo and said, "Seriously, you won." In the past 2 days, what he has seen has been enough to wipe out all his pride. Yes, all the pride. Although he came into the barracks by some means, he also held his own medical skills, and he was always proud of his own medical skills. Otherwise, he would not have said so when he was in Qinling's room. However, these 2 days he really understood what she said. Compared with her medical skills, can you really compare? No, not to mention the medical skills, just in the aspect of wound treatment, he lost completely and had almost nothing to say.
So, I'll do what I say.
I'll quit the title of military doctor and leave the barracks. Li Feng finished, then dejectedly prepared to leave. Just walked a few steps, but feet as soft almost fell to the ground, and he seems to feel a force to hold him. He was able to not fall down. I haven't closed my eyes for 2 days, I haven't eaten any food, and I concentrate on my work in such a cold place. It's normal for me to feel dizzy when I relax. However, when he saw who helped him, he was stunned. I've accepted your resignation, but you don't have to leave. Now, the camp is short of a camp. I'll hire you back from now on. This time, your camp title is above board. In the future, the wounded soldiers will be taken care of by you. Cloud Dance looked at him to finish saying, then also loosened a hand, stretched to embrace, waist of toward the door to walk out. Li Feng just looked at the Cloud Dance like that. He didn't respond for a long time until he patted it with strength on his shoulder. Don't be in a daze. Find someone to feed some soup to the people inside. Otherwise, you will be saved and starved to death. That's the fault of you, military doctor. When the pharmacist elder finished, he also relaxed his waist and went out. However, the astonishment in his heart was no less than others. That girl, unexpectedly, still has this kind of strange medical skill. Who is her master? Not everyone can do the technique of breaking the abdomen. Can this wench do up, unexpectedly handy of, see to know absolutely not novice. A little girl who is only 15 or 16 years old, even if she has such excellent medical skills, she can still do anything without looking surprised. At the beginning, even when he saw the peeling and the bloody viscera, he felt a nausea. But she didn't seem to feel anything at all. She was calm, sensitive, and neat. After 2 days in a row, he felt a little tired, but she dealt with it meticulously from the beginning to the end. It seemed that she was relaxed after the work. This girl is not human. The bottom of my heart can't help but be more curious to that girl, but he is more curious to her master. I don't know. What kind of old monster would that be? Think of here, pharmacist elder can't help but some anxious. Want to ask that wench immediately. However, after he walked out of the barracks, the girl disappeared. What about people? Where is it? It's clear that he just said a word. How can he disappear? In the steep woods to the east of the camp. Because a few days ago, the soldiers were attacked by poison, so they all avoided this place these days. So when Yunwu went to enter, he didn't meet anyone. This road is at the edge of steep, extremely difficult to walk. Along the way there are many thorns and shrubs obstruction. However, because some soldiers walked around, those thorns and shrubs were split into a road, and the clouds danced down the road. If there are black insects in this deep forest, it can only show that there must be witches in it. And it's likely to be from the dark side. Although, for the light faction and the dark faction, what kind of existence Cloud Dance is not very clear. However, the queen belongs to the dark department, so she must find out whether the people here are from the queen's side or something else. Yun Lingi unexpectedly handed over the Yun family army here to her, so she naturally had her own plan. Will she allow such a hidden danger to exist within her sphere of influence? After about a stick of incense, Cloud Dance finally in a lush forest, see a trace of fighting. Messy branches still maintain the original. This is where the soldiers were attacked. Go to this position. Cloud Dance line of sight also swept toward all around. One eye didn't see what spider kind of thing. However, on the leaves above the tree, I saw a thin black mist, which covered the leaves. If I don't look carefully, no one will pay attention to it. At this time, Bai Lao's figure immediately floated out of the necklace. All white, in this dark forest, is very abrupt. But at the moment when Bai Lao floated out, as soon as his white robe passed, a leaf floated down from the tree and gently fell into his palm. Girl, this is the black bug. However, this man's way of raising the bug is very unique. He uses leaves to raise the bug. The leaves raise insects. Although she didn't know about this kind of witchcraft in her previous life, there were some rumors about that movie. The magic of witchcraft originated in Miao, Xinjiang, Yunnan, and other places. Some of the people who raise witchcraft need to gather some poisonous things and then seal them in an altar. After exposure to the sun for 49 days in July, and then hide them in the shade for 49 days in July. The last one comes out as witchcraft. However, what she knows is just what she knows in these movies. In fact, she doesn't know exactly. However, this is definitely the first time that I have heard of it. What's so special about the leaves that raise insects? Cloud Dance looked at the pale black fog on the leaves in Old Bai's hands. The reason why witchcraft is forbidden by the witchcraft clan is that it is devilish and that the people who cultivate it need to use flesh, blood, poison, and so on. The strength of witchcraft also changes with the people who cultivate it. If the people who cultivate it have a little wrong mind, the stronger the witchcraft is, the stronger the people who cultivate it will be, and the consequences will be terrible. Said behind, White Old dignified some. It's just that what can be banned by the witch clan long ago must have serious consequences. The Cloud Dance is not unexpected, but when she is puzzled, is it not necessary to use flesh and blood to nourish the poisonous insects? Bai Lao seemed to see that Yunwu was puzzled, and then he explained, "It's the first time I've seen the method of raising poisonous insects with leaves. However, the people who can think of using leaves to raise poisonous insects should not be the ones who have bad intentions. Black bugs like this are raised by leaves. As long as they don't touch their fields and disturb them, they generally don't take the initiative to attack people." When he said this, he glanced around and then said, "If you're not wrong, this area is full of black insects. It's deliberately raised here to defend against the invasion of outsiders. If you want to step into this area, there should be no problem. How can I avoid these black insects? I want to go in and have a look." Cloud Dance toward White Old ask away. Although it doesn't sound like the queen, at least she has to go and have a look. She can rest assured after confirmation. White Old smell speech, seem early quasi her mind like, as long as you can hide trace, don't touch these leaves, should be able to. So simple? However, she naturally believed Bai Lao's words. Yunwu glanced around and chose a less lush area. After hiding his own breath, he wrapped it with wind elements and entered quickly without touching the ground. Really, without touching the leaves, the black fog on the leaves was silent. However, the more you go inside, the more luxuriant the forest will be. If you enter some places, you still need to stand on your side. The trees here are so luxuriant and hidden. Who are they hiding? Cloud Dance in carefully into the dense woods, originally thought, should be almost to it. But after the forest, it turned out to be a stone forest. Yes, that's the kind of high stone. Looking at the stone forest furnishings, it's estimated that the Imperial Air Flight can't get in. Although Yunwu has only been to the Inner Academy for a few days, he has heard a commentary on the array. Stone forest formation. This kind of array is not very clever, but for Cloud Dance, which still knows nothing about array, it's really big. Bai Lao, are the witches good at arrays? Cloud Dance toward White Old asked. Bai Lao, who was sitting in the void, shrugged. I don't know about others, but I don't know about this either. The array is created by Taoism and can't compete with the 8 poles of the witch clan. Taoism? Is there Taoism in this alien world? At this point, Cloud Dance is really a bit unexpected. Taoism? How come I've never heard of it? Cloud Dance picks eyebrows and looks at Bai Lao. In the historical records of mainland China, there are no Taoists. I don't know if the Taoists mentioned by Bai Laoku are the same as those she knows. Bai Laowen said with a smile, "Girl, the world is so big. You're a little girl. You haven't even gone out of mainland China. What's strange if you haven't heard of it? There's more of it that you haven't heard of. Is the world outside China? What kind of existence is this alien world?" For this problem, the longer Yunwu has lived in this alien world, the more confused it is. Like before, when the noble took her to the ancient town to meet the witch people, she heard about the upper world. Although she is not very clear, but not stupid. Perhaps, in addition to the mainland of China, there are many spaces that she has not even heard of. This mainland of China maybe the bottom of them. However, Yunwoo believes that one day she will find out exactly what to do. You don't know this array, that is to say, you don't know how to get in? Looking at the stone forest, Cloud Dance can't help frowning. Old Bai shrugged. I don't know. Even Bai Loudon no, Cloud Dance didn't say anything more. Array seems to be a required course for students in the internal college. Maybe if she goes back to the college to learn it and comes back, the problem will be solved. As for now, it's not the time to scare the snake. After observing for 4 weeks, Yunwoo made a few rounds of arrangement at the entrance of the stone forest and then turned back from the way he had just arrived. During this period, it did not cause any fluctuation, and naturally it did not disturb the people in the stone forest.
Wait.
It won't be long before she will come back. The setting sun is about to fall. When Yunwoo returned to the barracks, he happened to see the pharmacist elder looking for people everywhere. Even many soldiers were looking around. When I saw the Cloud dancing, I immediately came forward. You little girl, where have you been? I've been looking for you all afternoon. As soon as the elder pharmacist saw the person, his thick voice came. After a while, Li Feng and the general came. That appearance with saw what fragrant cake, inexplicably some excited. Miss Nine, where have you been? I'm going to send someone to search the whole camp. Gao Yu, the general, looked at Yunwoo with great respect in his eyes. The generals behind him, of course, had the same expression. In the afternoon, when they relaxed from the freezing, the mood was not to mention the excitement of surprise. After slow down, nature is looking for Cloud Dance. However, I didn't find anyone after searching all afternoon. I thought she was lost in the barracks or something. It's okay. I just went to the forest to have a look, that is, the area where the soldiers were attacked. You told the soldiers not to get close to it in the future. Most of the poisons were there. I'm afraid that would happen if I was not careful. However, as long as I didn't get close to it, those poisons should not spread out. Cloud danced toward that Gao Yu said. I saw that General Gao Yu and other generals were stunned. What? She went deep in the forest. Not long ago, she had just been busy for 2 days without closing her eyes. Even they couldn't help taking a rest. Instead of taking a rest, she went to the forest behind her feet, just to see if there is any poison in the place where the soldiers are attacked. For the lives of the soldiers? Think of it here. On the spot, Gao Yu, the generals, and Li Feng were all moved. Miss Nine, thank you for your trouble. A lot of the time, this soldier can't say anything pretentious. Miss Nine, we've prepared food and hot water for you in the morning. You've been tired for a few days. Why don't you take a hot bath and have something to eat first? Looking at the expression of Gao Yu and others, Yunwoo could not help but feel speechless. What she did was really just for herself, but it seemed that they misunderstood her. However, Cloud Dance naturally does not explain much. You don't have to take a bath. Just prepare something for me. I'll go to your Deputy Chen's room. If the wounded soldiers were poisoned, so was the little purple leopard. Before her, she just scraped off the thick wound, and the poisonous insects were still in her body. At least, before going back to the college, I also took out its poisonous insects, by the way. Hearing that Yunwoo was going to Qinling's room, the generals on the scene couldn't help looking at each other, but one of them said, Miss Nine, you have such great medical skills. Can you also take a look for Deputy General Qin? Show it to Qinling? His hand is her waist, how the degree of injury, she was very clear, how can it be so good to heal? Besides, she didn't plan to treat him. There's nothing I can do about his injury. Cloud Dance calmly said then on their own toward the direction of Qinling room. When the elder pharmacist saw this, he naturally followed him. Gao Yu and other generals couldn't help looking at Li Feng. Is Deputy General Qin really going to be abandoned? Li Feng frowned and looked at Cloud Dancing's back, but there was an inexplicable undercurrent in his eyes. Even the poisonous insects can be taken out from the human body. She must have a way to deal with Deputy General Chen's hand, but why did she refuse? Is it because of Deputy General Chen's attitude? Since she was injured, she found famous doctors everywhere, but she couldn't cure them. Qinling was a little bit desperate, and her already impatient temper was even more irritable. General, I think it's better to discuss with Deputy General Chen first to make him soft. Maybe Miss Nine will do it. Yes, I think that Miss Gio is a tough-hearted person. She didn't want to let Dr. Li leave the camp at first, but she didn't want to let Dr. Li stay at last. Yes, I also think Miss Nine is really nice. I went to the forest to investigate the situation after several days of work for the soldiers. As long as Deputy General Chen is soft, I think Miss Nine will definitely be cured. The generals spoke one sentence at a time.
Gao Yu thought the same.
This Nine young lady seems to be a little cold, but they have seen with their own eyes what happened in the past 2 days. She's a good person. What's more, it's the daughter of the loyal general they respect. She's also entrusted by the general, isn't she? Maybe he want to talk to Chun Ling and let him have a better attitude. Maybe it will work.
Good.
I'll go to him to have a chat in person later. You've been tired these days, so let's separate. By the way, when you go back, remember to give orders to each of your subordinates. Miss Nine will take over our barracks for the time being. Gao Yu said to the generals behind him in a low and serious way. He thought it over. Since the general has given all the military orders to Miss Nine, it means that the general wants them to obey Miss Nine's orders. They are loyal to the general from the bottom of their hearts. As long as they are ordered by the general, they will die without regret. What's more, Miss Nine is still such an excellent and capable woman. What reason do they object to the management of the barracks by her? After Gao Yu's words fell, the generals could not help but keep silent for a few seconds. But soon, they all nodded in tacit agreement and responded in unison.
Yes.
General immediately, the generals went to their respective barracks. Seeing this, Gao Yu turned around and walked towards Chun Ling's room in the direction of Cloud Dance. Chun Ling's room. When Yunwu pushed the door in, Chun Ling, who was sitting by the bed and feeding the baby purple leopard on the bed with goat's milk, suddenly raised her head. At this time, when I saw the Cloud Dance, I obviously frowned. However, it is not the kind of temper before. Instead, he said, after you bandaged him, he woke up a few times, but it didn't improve much. It, of course, is the little purple leopard on his bed. This afternoon, the news spread all over the barracks. Naturally, he couldn't have heard it. The Cloud Dances to smell speech, glanced at that Chun Ling, immediately, then looked at that young leopard. Maybe she delivered the baby herself. How much do you care? If you want to treat it thoroughly. Okay, don't leave it in my room. Take it out. When Chun Ling said this, she moved the baby leopard to the bedside. However, his other hand has been abandoned, and although the gauze has been removed from this hand, the stuttering scratch on it is still clearly visible. It turns out that he was scratched by the young leopard? Cloud Dance looked at that Chun Ling, in the fundus of the eye many a visit. Chun Ling looked at Yunwu and suddenly looked at him, which made him seem unnatural and frowned. What are you doing? Do you want me to take you out? Just then, Gao Yu, who had just started at the door, heard his cheering. Deputy General Chen. With a call, Gao Yu came in from the door. When Yunwu saw that Gao Yu was coming, she didn't say anything more. She picked up the little purple leopard and turned away. Until watching Cloud Dance leave, Gao Yu can't help but frown at Chun Ling. Deputy General Chen, I said, why can't you change your temper a little bit? Do you know that the ninth lady is not only the daughter of the general, but also has a good medical skill? You always scold people like this. How can I ask her to give it to you? However, before Gao Yu finished speaking, Chun Ling suddenly spoke. General Gao, you don't have to worry about it. Even if she can cure it, she won't cure it for me. However, Gao Yu frowned. What are you talking about? How can you abandon yourself? No. But Chun Ling interrupted again. Looking up at Gao Yu, Miss Nine won't cure me because she abandoned my hand. Speaking of the latter sentence, Chunling's eyes are not irritable, but calm. In fact, Chunling didn't recognize it at first. Until I heard the news this afternoon, saying that Miss Jiu was not only good at medicine but also a summoner who could control elements. This reminds him of a sentence that military strategist when you said unintentionally before. The black-faced girl appeared in the battlefield and said that she wanted to break off the relationship with the general, but also had such resentment and anger towards the general. Maybe the girl was the Cloud family. At the beginning, the black-faced girl glared at his eyes, which he still clearly remembered in his mind. Although Cloud Dance's eyes are black now, it's estimated that other girls will never have that fierce and indifferent look. She turned out to be the black-faced girl. How could she have treated him when she had abandoned his hand? However, when Gao Yu heard Chunling's words, he was stunned and couldn't believe it. How possible? Your hand was not given by a black-faced girl on the battlefield. How could Miss Yunjiajiu be the black-faced girl at the beginning? Gao Yu obviously didn't believe it. Although he didn't take part in the Warcraft war led by Phoenix, he had heard something about it. It is said that the black-faced girl stole the eggs of Phoenix, which led to a big war. At the beginning, the girl was captured by the general, but in the scuffle, the girl wounded Deputy General Chun and fled. After that, she returned to the border town to burn the barracks, teasing the general. If the black-faced girl was really Miss Nine, how could she treat her own father like this? It doesn't seem to make sense. Chunling looks at Gao Yu and doesn't believe it. He can't help laughing at himself.
Yes.
No one would believe such a thing. Even he would rather not. But forget it, maybe. He is destined to be a useless person. And what's the right of a useless person to stay in this barracks? The operation of the baby leopard took about an hour. When Yunwu came out, it was already dark, and the food prepared for Yunwu had already been waiting outside the door and had been heated several times. As soon as he saw the Cloud dancing out, he said respectfully, "Miss Nine, I've brought you dinner." Yunwu took a look and let them in. "2 or 3 days, a grain of rice has not been eaten. To tell you the truth, it is not hungry. That is deceptive. However, perhaps it is because of the improvement of strength. On the contrary, it does not say that the situation of hands and feet are weak after 2 or 3 days of starvation." After the soldiers set the food, they left. At this time, Yunwu sat down at the table and looked over at the pharmacist elder, who was staring at the little leopard. "Elder, it's always a baby. There's nothing to see. Come and have something to eat." "Girl, I found that your water element has healing ability. It's really not simple. It's amazing. But how can your contract beast be cold? It doesn't look like a mild creature in the water system at all." The elder pharmacist took his eyes back and walked towards Yunwu. When Yunwu did not answer his question. Because of this problem, it's hard to explain. The elder pharmacist is also a smart old man. Seeing Yunwu's silence, he knew that she would not answer. "Okay, I'm not reluctant if you don't answer this question, but isn't the purpose of your coming here to see Qin Fujuan for your father? With all your medical skills, how can you be powerless? Who said that with a medical skill, you can cure all kinds of diseases? You're not only a pharmacist but also an elder of inner school. Do you know all the medicines in the world?" Yunwu is smart, but not weak at all. When the elder pharmacist hears the words, he will have nothing to say. But having nothing to say doesn't mean you can't see that this girl is obviously wrong with that Deputy General Chen. Of course, he didn't want to take care of those things and he didn't care. "Well, I don't want to be poor with you. We've been out for nearly 3 days. When are you going to go back? For you, I have left my post without permission. If other elders find out, I will suffer with you. Originally, I thought I would go and return soon in the afternoon. But 2 or 3 days went by. It was far beyond the expected time. He hoped that when he went back, he would not be found, otherwise, he would be beaten again. But to tell the truth, This trip out found the girl so many things for him, but also a good thing. At least, let him know her strength, but let him feel a lot. There's nothing to do for the time being. I'll come back after eating something. Yunwoo holds the chopsticks and goes back while eating. The pharmacist elder looked at her. Girl, you said you haven't eaten for 2 days. How can you eat so politely? It's really a lady of the general's family. Smell speech. Cloud danced directly, a white-eyed jilted past. Cloud dances leaving. Let originally still be in just Rose, hot-blooded soldier, is a burst of loss. However, when Yunwoo promised to come back soon, it made thousands of soldiers excited again. Of course, there are pharmacists and elders, and those behind Cloud Dance don't say much. After leaving the barracks, they flew directly to the Imperial Air and rushed back to the college. It's still the one that came out and entered. Through the woods, the beast had been waiting for the landing position. When the pharmacist elder and Yunwoo returned to the medicine garden, it was already midnight. Girl, it's too late to enter the gate of the college. I'll have a rest in my courtyard. I'll go back in the morning when no one else finds out. For the pharmacist elder's words, Cloud Dance is naturally very willing to nod and agree. It is estimated that there will be a lot of good medicinal materials for the elder pharmacist to be hospitalized. However, when I came to the old wooden house, I saw the bitter and cold place where there were no weeds, so Yunwoo was drunk. Is this the residence of an inner college elder? Do you need to be so cold? How to say, it's also an elder level. It seems that Yunwoo's reaction was not unexpected at all. The elder pharmacist grinned and said, "Don't be surprised. We elders in the college don't have salaries. We are much poorer than you. What's more, it's good to have such a small wooden house in such a highland. Although it's a small wooden house, there are 2 rooms. Choose one for yourself. In a few hours, it will be light. When you enter the cabin, Yunwoo will choose anyone. Well, the room is overestimated. It's a laughing space made of wood, and there's nothing in it except a doorboard bed. The word home without walls is particularly appropriate in this small wooden house. The elder pharmacist went into another room to have a rest. Cloud Dance also didn't have to be fastidious, also directly sat on the bed, set foot into the breathing. If you add that night in the Kangwoo Pavilion, you have not closed your eyes for 3 days. You are really tired. However, not long after Yunwoo's quiet breathing and closing eyes, a light fragrance of flowers came in the evening breeze. It's the fragrance of the flower garden not far away. It is refreshing and seems to have a calming effect. Half an hour later, Yunwoo felt that his tiredness had subsided, and his whole body was in a state of gradual clearance, which was very comfortable. And also at this time, the elixir field actually automatic operation, like with that Chinran heart of flowers, and gradually automatic cultivation. What's going on? How could the fragrance of that medicinal flower have such a peculiar effect? Yunwoo was surprised. But surprise and surprise, Cloud Dance does not have any movement, but is to maintain a static sitting body. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, it's a constant cycle. In that way, her consciousness of keeping her eyes closed was unconsciously like entering another layer of space. A space filled with white fog. I can't touch it, I can't see through it. I feel like I've been floating in that soft space, like I'm looking for something, but what are you looking for? I don't remember Yunwoo. My mind is empty. It's completely empty. Just like that, floating in the space, looking at the white fog around, a vast expanse of white, just like her empty mind. What is she looking for? Girl. Girl. Master. Mama. Saint Cloud Girl. Just when Yunwoo was trying to figure out what he was looking for here, he suddenly heard a lot of voices coming from the bottom of his mind. There was a sharp pain in her head, and it was there that she seemed to think of something she was looking for. However, a flash is gone did not catch. Just after the sound disappeared, Yunwoo seemed to be silent again. In that doubt, what was she looking for? However, what Yunwoo doesn't know is, in reality, the elder pharmacist watched the Cloud Dance, which was completely settled. At this time, the whole person was shocked. Is it settled? This wench, unexpectedly under such environment, entered the break zone to settle? I'm not sure. It's a kind of understanding and determination that will come when you are about to break through the bottleneck and enter Wuzuan. At this kind of moment, people who need to break the bottleneck usually need to find a place to break through, because if they are disturbed at this moment, it is absolutely the most deadly. But this girl was in the beginning of whooshing. How did she get into the broken statue? Moreover, she seems to be in the case of do not know, in this environment on the settled. What's going on? Or, she is not settled, but sleepy? Looking at the cloud dance, the pharmacist elder could not help but called in a soft voice, "Cloud dance girls?" No movement. The pharmacist elder also stretched out his hand and was ready to touch her to see whether she was sleeping or settled. However, as soon as the hand approached, the obscure force bounced his hand away. I'm really breaking the rules. It seems that the elder pharmacist really has to be shocked at this moment. What's going on? How can a teenager, who is only the 7th day of Wuxing's junior high school, enter the stage of breaking respect? Is she really going to break into Wuzuan? Thinking of this possibility, the elder pharmacist himself thinks it's ridiculous, but the fact in front of him can't be erased. What to do? Do you want to report this situation to the other elders of the college? But the girl is now in the final. If this time to leave, if you encounter a little bit of what disturb collision, then she will directly to her life. The elder pharmacist frowned at the cloud dance, sitting on the bed. Finally, he chose to go outside and protect the whole cabin with his own strength to protect the Dharma for her. Day after day.
Time goes by so fast.
However, outside the small wooden house next to the flower garden, an old man with white hair, like a fossil, sat at the door day and night. And in the cabin, the figure sitting on the wooden bed still kept a fixed position like a fossil. Time has changed, as if blinking, a month has passed. They're beginning to form cobwebs. Still in the white fog-filled space of cloud dance. Also in the nonsense like leisurely, has been thinking hard. What in the end are you looking for? No way. There is no space in my head. I can't think of anything. However, she faintly felt that it was wrong to be here all the time. So, in the later period of time, apart from thinking about what she was looking for, she also thought about how to leave here. No matter how far she goes, she always seems to be in the same place. What's going on? And why is she here? What did she do before? There is a blank in my mind. I can't remember anything. Outside. Every month, the elder pharmacist will send enough medicine flowers for 1 month to enter the inner college. However, several days have passed since then, but no medicine flowers have been sent by the elder pharmacist. The chef in the canteen can't wait. Today also called on 2 assistant chefs, personally came out. But as soon as I arrived at the elder pharmacist's residence, I saw an elder pharmacist with white hair, white beard, and a lot of cobwebs all over his body. The 3 cooks were all stunned. Is that the elder pharmacist? Seeing this, the 2 assistant chefs were not sure. It seems so, but how did the elder pharmacist become an old man? There must be something wrong with the elder pharmacist. Go back to find the elder quickly and come to them. The cook gave orders to a cook assistant. When the assistant chef heard the speech, he immediately turned around and went back to report. Immediately, the cook and the assistant chef quickly went to the elder pharmacist. Elder pharmacist, are you okay? The assistant chef gave a respectful low call to the pharmacist elder, sitting on the floor. No answer. The chef and the assistant chef looked at each other and thought that something must have happened.
Don't be stunned.
Help the elder to carry him back to the house. The chef said to the assistant chef. They immediately reached out to help the elder pharmacist. But their hands touched the elder pharmacist's body. A strong breath suddenly released from his body, and the wooden house protected by Yuan Li also fluctuated a little under that power. I said, you too. It's not easy for me to get a good sleep, but I'm disturbed by you. With eyes closed and eyes open, the pharmacist elder looked at the cook who was shot out and said helplessly. The cook and the assistant chef, who got up from the ground, looked at the pharmacist elder who opened his eyes and felt depressed. Elder, you are okay. I thought if you want to go to bed, you should go into the room. Why do you sleep at the door? The chef and the elder pharmacist are very familiar. Peer into the college. This was startled, cannot help but also some helpless complain. You old Lou, you really care about your own business. I like sleeping at the gate. The pharmacist elder felt that the girl in the house still didn't move, so he continued to keep stable. Before, he was so hungry that his chest was close to his back. But he chose to sleep deeply to reduce his physical consumption. However, as soon as he slept, he seemed to have been sleeping for a long time. Seeing the chef Lao Lu coming, it is estimated that a month has passed. Why hasn't she broken through yet? However, it is not surprising that there is no breakthrough, because it is not so easy to break through Wuzuan. At the beginning, when he broke through Wuzuan, he was closed for more than half a year and settled for more than half a year. Fortunately, he made a successful breakthrough at that time. If the breakthrough is not successful at that time, we have to wait for the next opportunity. Opportunities can be met, but not sought. Who knows how long the next opportunity will take, maybe a few days, maybe a few years, or even a lifetime. Although I don't know how this girl can enter the breakthrough of Wuzuan at the beginning of Wuxing. But it shouldn't break through that fast. However, he can't always sit here to protect her. He hasn't eaten for a month, and he still needs to spend yuan to protect her. Even Wuzun will feel tired. Lao Lu, go and tell the 5 elders to come here for me. I have something to ask for him. The pharmacist elder said to the chef Lao Lu. I just thought what's wrong with you, so I asked someone to inform the elder long ago. It's estimated that the elder 5 will follow me later. Lao Lu patted the clothes and said. The pharmacist elder hears speech, but can't help but frown. Have you informed the elder? Isn't that why all the school elders are coming? The pharmacist elder looked down at the white hair hanging in front of him. It seems that his vitality has been wasted too much, and he has recovered to be an old man. Really, how can he see people like this? I said, you old Lu, do you have any insight? In the future, if you encounter this kind of situation, you just need to inform the 5 elders first, and you have to inform the elder. Tell me what? Before the elder pharmacist finished what he said, a voice came from afar. The pharmacist elder almost instantaneously gathered Yuan Li to protect the cabin so that the girl inside would not be shocked by the sound. After a while, I saw an old man in a gray robe coming from far and near in a twinkling of an eye. Elder. The chef Lao Lu and the assistant, when they saw the visitor, immediately called respectfully to the visitor. When the elder pharmacist saw the man coming, he called respectfully, Elder? The old man in the gray robe was no one else. It was the old man who called himself Old Man Sweeping the Tower that Yunwu saw in the training tower that day. A pair of wise eyes glanced at the pharmacist elder, who is still sitting on the ground. I heard you fainted.
Shit.
Who said he fainted? He's a pharmacist. How can he faint without any reason? Isn't it a damage to his ability and image? Of course not. It's Lao Lu who made a mistake. I'm just protecting the Dharma for the girl in the room. Because I've been sleeping for a long time, I can reduce my energy consumption. The pharmacist explained it in a hurry. See him that words a fall, the pharmacist elder is to lift the eye of Curl and I that cabin. When I felt that the girl inside was the girl who claimed to be Yunwu in the training tower that day, the old tower seemed to be surprised. It's her. But soon, that pair of wise eye bottom also flashed a color of surprise. Do you want to settle down? That girl, it seems that she is just the strength of Wuxing in the early stage. How can she enter the broken respect? Seeing that the old pagoda was surprised, the pharmacist began to say, This girl, I don't know how, suddenly entered the decision. It's been a month since I calculated the time. I really can't hold on, so I wanted to ask the 5 elders to replace me. So I didn't want to inform the elder. Why can't I let the elder replace me, right? However, as soon as the pharmacist elder's words came down, a gentle but strong breath passed by. Directly, replace the power of the pharmacist elder that envelopes the wooden house. Have a rest, and let Lao Lu prepare something for you. From a kind and gentle voice. But at this time, a few figures from far and near brush are very fast to catch up. What happened? I heard the pharmacist fainted? What happened to the old medicine? Did someone break in? A few figures have not come. The voice is high and low. The elder pharmacist, who is still sitting on the ground, heard the words, and the black lines on his forehead came out. Well, all the principals are here. In the twinkling of an eye, several old men in different robes, middle-aged people, have come to more than a dozen. Even behind also came a young figure, and that person is not others. It is the dean of Foreign College. Chiemo, what's the matter? I heard something happened to the elder pharmacist. Chiemo just came, asked a low voice. But no one answered him at the scene, because the more than a dozen elders were shocked when they felt the situation in the hut. Chiemo also follows the detection to know is also a lung. But then, the fundus of his eyes suddenly sank, and a dignified color swept past his eyes. She is in the fourth awakening? In this place, absolutely not, with her physical condition, absolutely cannot bear. Chiemo at that moment, with a force suddenly toward the cabin attack.
Bang.
There was a dull sound. Dean Chi, what are you doing? Just a slow breath of pharmacist elder see this. Face suddenly a change of look to that Chiemo. And Chiemo suddenly hands. Also is to let the elder on the spot is to frown. You can't receive any disturbance when you break the statue. Otherwise, you may lose your life. With Chiemo's strength, how can we not know? What's he doing? Even the old tower is also frowned. That pair of wise eyes swept to Chiemo elder. Believe me once, I will never do anything to hurt her. Chiemo said, at the foot of a move, quickly on the front, but the strength is at that time, and attacked the cabin, seems very anxious. This confused the elders present. What's the situation? Tower old but hand a whisk, blocked his that strength. She is breaking into settle. You like this will harm her. The pharmacist elder also stood up from the ground and frowned at Chiemo. What are you doing, Dean Chi? She is a student of our college. Chiemo looked at the cabin, but his face was a little strange, almost too late to explain. A strong breath rose, and in a moment it hit the power of the cabin. Originally surrounded by Yuan Li, the peaceful cabin, with the impact of that force, produced a burst of turbulence, dull sound ripple. The room that has not been moving clouds, with the subtle movement, eyebrows seem to experience the pain of life like wrinkle, eyebrows between black and white, two groups of light flashing, as if in the effort to occupy the erosion of each other. Do not give up. Outside. With Chimo's behavior, the old tower's face also sinks slightly. Say, what's going on? Chiemo in the tower under the old look and the presence of so many elders. This is not to explain. However, thinking of the consequences of her awakening here, she could not help saying 4 words. Which saint? Which saint? As soon as the 4 words fell, all the elders on the scene were stunned, including the pharmacist elder and the old pagoda. What? She is. Some of the elders present are not very clear about the situation, but the old tower is different. After Zhenglong regained his mind, he could not help frowning and looking at the wooden house. There was an incomprehensible undercurrent in the bottom of his wise eyes. However, at that moment, the power of protecting the cabin was put away. When the pharmacist elder saw this, his heart was inexplicably tight. He had heard of some rumors about the witch saints, but was it related to the girl inside? Elder, does he want to stop the girl from breaking through? But if you are disturbed, the consequences will be, except for the pharmacist and Chiemo, you all go back. If anyone dares to reveal half a word about this, I'll be very careful. The old pagoda turned his eyes and swept over a dozen elders present. For the first time, he spoke in such a serious voice. A dozen elders looked at each other. Although they were curious about the people inside, they still left. Lao Lu and the assistant chef, who naturally didn't dare to say anything for half of his life, quickly left. I'll go in and have a look. You stay outside. After the old tower voice fell, he went to the hut. Chiemo and the elder pharmacist watched the old pagoda go in, and they stood at the door of the hut waiting. Inside, Cloud Dance's face is not very good. Originally in the eyebrow, 2 groups of light has turned into a fog, began to cover the whole face. Eyebrows tightly wrinkled, as if abnormal pain, but it is still in the settled, unable to draw back. Ta Lao walked in. When he saw her face, his eyebrows were locked. Little girl, are you really a witch? There was a trace of surprise in the murmur, but at the same time, the palm of the old pagoda's hand soared. As soon as he moved his foot, he wanted to attack the Cloud Dance between his eyebrows. Bang! A loud crash. See, Tower Old Hand hasn't met Cloud Dance. A black light suddenly from her neck. Directly will Tower Old to hit fly out. Who are you? Bai Lao's white figure flashed out of the void, and his cool eyes were staring at the old pagoda. Old Tia got up from the ground, and when he saw old Bai, his eyes flashed a touch of astonishment. Are you an elf? Leave at once. If you dare to get close to her again, I want you to be dead. Bai Lao's voice is so cold. Tower Old line of sight from white old body to Cloud Dance. When see her neck seems to have something, seem to understand clearly. You are the spirit of the sorcerer's holy things. However, since you are the guardian spirit of the sorcerer's holy things, you should be clear about the situation of this girl at this time. I want to help her. Help her? Bai Lao Shin Mao sweeps to Tower Lao. You just that one palm go down, is direct waster. You this call help her? Tower Old silent down because that white old said is the truth. But at this time, a voice came in from the door. We must prevent her from awakening, otherwise, once she wakes up for the 4th time, the aura existing in the inner college is enough to support her with her present physical condition, and the explosive force will destroy the whole inner college at the same time. Chi Mo came in from the door, with a trace of anxiety in his eyes. In the 4th awakening, she will gradually reveal the essence of the saint. However, on the premise of awakening, she will instantly absorb all the auras of heaven and earth in her position for induction. But this is the scope of the inner college. The aura is enough to provide thousands of students to practice every day. The aura gathered is beyond the imagination of ordinary people. Once the Cloud Dance wakes up, it will definitely empty all the aura in the whole college. At that moment, with her present body, it's impossible to bear it. Explosive body is absolute. Chi Mo that words, finally let Tower Old, with the door waiting for the pharmacist elder face a change. Bai Lao seems to have known for a long time, but he still insists. That can't take her away. She has been working hard, he has been looking in the eyes, the heart is very clear. If this time abandoned her, absolutely, then killed her more uncomfortable. Chi Mo looks at Cloud Dance, that facial expression 2 regiments black fog, also gradually erosion fusion. She is about to wake up. Eyes suddenly a shun. Waste. Better than let her die. I can't let her die. At that moment, Chi Mo almost for the first time full strength rise. Straight attack Cloud. White old angry. Black light with counterattack. Elder. In the moment of being hit by Bai Lao, Chi Mo suddenly shouts to the old tower. At that moment, the Cloud Dance on the bed and the breath on the body suddenly began to converge, and a strange force of the prelude to the storm began to rise like a whirlpool. The old tower did not hesitate at this time. When Chi Mo entangles Bai Lao, Ta Lao has come to Yunwu. However, this time, he did not attack Yunwu directly. Instead, a black and white force rose from his body, turned to his palm, and gently extended his hand to touch Yunwu's forehead. The clouds, which had been floating in the white fog, finally saw a seemingly broken exit. Joy want to go out from there, cloud dance that has been blank-minded, but suddenly seemed to think of something. By the way, what she has been looking for here is a door. A door to another level. When Yunwu remembered what he wanted to look for, the space filled with white fog suddenly changed dramatically. The white fog disappeared, and suddenly a door appeared in front of her. A door full of vitality and brightness. Is this the door she's been looking for? But just as Yunwu was ready to reach out, another door appeared behind her. A door full of the darkness of death. After the two doors appeared, not far away, Yunwu stood in the middle of the two doors. What's going on? Saint, you are the inheritance of the lineage of light. Please choose light. But then a loving voice came from the void.
Light?
However, at the same time, a gloomy voice came from the void. The dark system is also one of the witches. Please don't turn your back on us, Saint. Darkness. Can we say that these two doors represent the dark department and the light department of the witch clan? Yunwu looks at the front and back doors, and people with bright eyes will choose the bright door. However, I don't know why, when Yunwu looks at these two doors, he has a feeling that he doesn't know how to choose. It seems that behind the two doors are things you can't give up. But the situation is clear in front of her. This is to let her make a choice. But how does that make her choose? On both sides, she didn't want to give up. Outside, just as the old tower stroked Cloud dancing forehead, a black and white light rose at the same time. Then, the light turned into 8 trigrams yin and yang, suddenly printed into the eyebrow of Cloud dance. And at that moment, the whirlpool's strange power on Yunwu's body, which had begun to roll up, seemed to be suppressed by something. Bai Lao then hit Chi Mo and turned around to return to Yunwu. I wanted to attack the old tower, but I felt that Yunwu didn't seem to be hurt, so my anger eased down. You sealed her? Well, I used the Taoist seal method to seal her temporarily, but it won't take long to seal her. I'll take her out of the college first. Tower Old Low Road. Chi Mo, who stood up and covered his heart in the corner, wiped the blood red on the corner of his mouth, and then said, "She can't leave the college." The old tower frowned and turned to look at him. Just as he said, once she wakes up in the college, she will absorb too much aura and explode. When the seal is broken, he should take her out of the college first. Chi Mo looks at Cloud dance. The facial expression is serious way. Outside want to look for her person too much. Once she leaves here, the breath on her body now can't cover up. Those people will certainly look for the breath to catch to look for her. Those people? Besides the people of the Beast Gate, who else is there? Tower Old frowned to see to Chi Mo. However, Chi Mo was silent on this issue. Can you stop talking about it for a while? I'm afraid your seal won't support her for long. Bai Lao suddenly opened his mouth. See, Cloud dance body just was repressed down breath, faintly began to buffer up again. For this kind of situation, Tashi was also quite surprised.
So fast.
At first, he thought that it would last for at least an hour. But in this case, I'm afraid a stick of incense will break the seal he set. The potential of this girl is far more terrifying than he thought. Elder, don't let me take her to the outer college. At least, the aura of Nakamura in the outer college is not as strong as that in the inner college. Moreover, the secret room of my cultivation should be able to withstand some impact. As long as she is in the college, even if she wakes up, her breath won't leak out, which can reduce the risk for her and the college. Chi Mo at this time hastily opens away. Tower Old smells speech, but silence for a long time. Let the pharmacist go down with you. If there is any accident, send the news up immediately.
Good.
Chi Mo nodded, then did not hesitate. A step forward to the bed of Cloud dance picked up, turned to convenient fall out of the cabin. Although the pharmacist elder who had been waiting at the door didn't enter the room, he made the situation quite clear. Without saying anything, he immediately followed Chima. Until the two figures left, the white old man, who was still floating in the air, looked at the old tower and asked the question he had been wondering. "Are you a Taoist family?" Hearing this, he looked at him as if he were not surprised. "Then when you just sealed her, why did you inject your Taoist Yuanli into her?" "Maybe others can't see it, but he is the spirit of the sorcerer's holy things, and Teleo's quiet behavior did not conceal him." But the old tower pulled up the corners of his mouth, as if with a faint smile. "A lot of things don't need to break the casserole to ask in the end. Everyone has their own reasons to do that. What's more, I still owe the girl's ancestor a favor, just as I am returning the favor." White old silent looking at him. "Good half ring." He turned away. Array is one of the skills of Taoism, but there is another ability of Taoism, which is the Yuanli practiced by Taoism. It is said that Taoist Yuanli all have very strange abilities, but how strange is unknown to outsiders. Even if it's by Lao, I don't know. But just when this old pagoda was injected into Yunwu, it was obviously giving, not harming. He's helping her.
Why?
Taoists and witches have nothing to do with each other. There's no reason to spend their own resources to help others. However, it is obvious that Mr. Ta does not intend to say so. Bai Lao Jian couldn't ask, so naturally, he didn't bother to ask more. As long as he knew that the girl was okay. As for the rest, let's talk about it later. But at the moment when Yunwu was sealed, the man on the other side was shocked. It seems that there is a sense of general, dragon evil heart suddenly a tight. When he resurrected her body at the beginning, his blood melted into her body, so he would feel something when something serious happened to her. Is she in danger? But now at this time, he was in the swamp and mud, with countless wounds all over his body. He was fighting a bloody battle. The man in strange clothes could not tell whether he was a man or a woman. In addition, if you look at the surrounding environment, you will find that this is a strange space. The man with strange clothes was also wounded several deep wounds. However, his eyes, which were shrouded in the mask, were staring at the dragon for a moment. "You're the first one to come." It was a cold, androgynous voice. Long Qingxia looked at the man. Originally, he was ready to kill him, so as to take his strength and ability. But now he didn't seem to be in the mood. He glanced at the man in the strange clothes, but he didn't say anything. He turned around and wanted to leave the space. However, when the man saw it, his eyes narrowed slightly, the void twisted and the space twisted. "Do you want to escape?" "I have something else to do. I'll come to ask for advice later." The long sword in Long Qingxia's hand smashed down and directly pierced the twist. The man's face changed slightly, but his figure flashed strangely and fell in the direction of Long Qingxia's departure. "What's the matter?" "It provokes me, but I just want to find an excuse to leave." That's the thick skin of you people in the lower world, isn't it? Feel that kind of feeling is more and more intense. Long Qing evil in the heart don't have some anxious. Get out of the way. This time I enter this space, I just want to go to a higher level in my own strength, and the quickest shortcut is to enter this space and kill a superior opponent. That way, you can not only advance, but also gain the power of that person's skills. It's just that this war has been deadlocked for nearly half a month. I can't kill him, and he can't kill him. But at this time, he was not in the mood. He was worried that she was in danger. Get out of the way. In my territory, no one in the lower world dares to talk to me like this. It's half a month. If you don't take your head off today, I'll be in a hurry. That person stares at the dragon of ghost mask to pour evil. The eye ground is extremely cold. The facial expression under the mask is dyed with a rage to kill an idea. At that moment, a strong gasp burst out from the body. In the twinkling of an eye, the attack had been swift and violent, directly attacking the dragon. Long Qingxie had lost his patience before, and a wave of irritability flashed through his eyes. Almost did not have any hesitation. Will own must-kill skill to exert. He absolutely does not allow anyone to obstruct him to go to rescue her. Anyone. The roar of the sword was filled with a strong force of exerting all one's strength, and he fought back at the man in the air. After half a month's fight, they have some understanding of each other's strength, and their strength has always been in a state of balance. However, in the Longqing evil separate air raid to strength, instantly let that person changed face. I saw the man suddenly a retreat, quickly a dodge, but some kind of cracking sound of caca broke under that force. That figure is also quite embarrassed by the repulsion of a few steps, only to stabilize the pace. The black hair fell from under the mask, and at the same time, it showed the beautiful white face of the mask. She's a woman. A beautiful woman. However, at this time, her face exuded a small bloodstain. That's all. With all her strength, she didn't hurt? Seeing this, the eyes of Dragon Qingxie are slightly deep. It seems that the strength of people in this space is really strong. However, Long Qingxie didn't have any hesitation. Just under this opportunity, he turned around and left from the exit quickly. What this woman values most is her own face, especially such a beautiful woman. When I touched the pricking blood mark on her face, the flame of the beautiful woman's eyes was furious. Damn, you dare to hurt my face. I will peel your skin and destroy your face. As soon as the roar fell, the woman's fast figure chased the dragon. When he rushed to the dragon, a fiery red light suddenly rose from the woman with a sense of rage. Bang bang! In the swamp, the explosion sounds like smoke and bamboo attacking the air, directly chasing the dragon. Seeing that the exit is not far away, you can feel the attack behind you. The dragon is so cold that he sinks his eyes and turns to meet the woman who is attacking behind you. Red light, sword, explosion, strong breath. If someone else sees this scene, he will be shocked. Such a battle, but not the general strength can be measured. Between the moment was difficult to tell the outcome. However, for Long Qingxie, he didn't love fighting. He just wanted to go to Yunwu immediately. Click. The sound of the mask breaking. Under a silver thread, the beautiful and evil face suddenly appeared from under the mask. The woman was stunned. That pair of angry and murderous eyes. In the second of seeing that face, the action all stopped for a moment. Good. Beautiful man. But at that time, a slap Ling air raid. Directly the woman fly that moment. Dragon Qing evil tall figure has clear jump out of the exit, conveniently sealed the exit point. Poof. The woman was hit to fly for half a distance to stabilize her body, but also because of the impact of a Lingshan, she spurted a mouthful of blood. However, the eyes have been staring at the sealed exit. That man in the lower world can hurt her. Who is he? The man who provoked her, but no one can escape. Out of the way. Early in the morning, waiting on the side of the 07, in the dragon out of the evil, immediately welcomed forward. Master, the medicine pool is ready. Every time Dragon Qingxie enters the space, they will prepare the medicine pool first. Because as long as you enter the space to experience, you will return scarred, but your strength will be greatly improved. However, this time the master entered the space for half a month. He's always worried about what's going to happen. He wants to enter, but it takes strength to reach a certain level to enter the space. He doesn't have the strength yet. No, you have to ask people to go on, let everyone get ready, wait for my order, I will go back to the Zhou dynasty. After Long Qingxie took the shawl in his hand and put it on him, he didn't wait for him to react. His figure had disappeared in that place. Master, there's nothing else I want to say, but I don't have a chance. What's going on? Even without treatment, he rushed to the hospital in such a hurry. Zhou dynasty? Is it the woman in the master's heart again? 007 can't help frowning.
He's been with Long Qingxia for a long time.
He's never seen a woman like this before. He's never even seen a nervous person. What kind of woman can make the master so fascinated? While 07 was frowning and meditating, the voice of the man in black came suddenly. 07, it seems that someone is breaking the seal? Hearing this, he turned his head and looked at a seal. I saw that there were some impact distortions on the seal mouth, like some force was pounding at the other end. This has never happened. This seal is set by the master. It won't be broken so easily. What shall we do now? You've just heard the master's command. Okay, go back and get ready for the master's command. The people in black are majestic all around. Yes, College of Foreign Languages. Chi-mo in the cloud dance embrace. There is no hesitation toward his exclusive cultivation room. The power of the seal on Yunwu seems to be more and more uncontrollable. President Chi, I'm afraid this girl is going to break through. What should we do now, stop or? The elder pharmacist followed him closely. Seeing this, he really had no bottom in his heart. As soon as Chima entered the training room, he immediately put Yunwu on the stone bed. Here should be able to isolate some aura into depending on the situation, if not, at the same time to stop her. Chi-mo looked at the cloud dance sitting on the stone bed and said, if you stop it halfway, you don't have to think about the consequences. The pharmacist elder could not help but look solemn. Is there no better way? Chi-mo shook his head. If so, he doesn't have to stop it in the first place. It's just, why on earth? Every awakening of the Virgin needs time and opportunity. At the beginning, Yunwu's mother spent decades, but she only awakened for the 4th time. Since then, she has never awakened for the 5th time and failed to become a real saint. That's why she needs to accept the fate of the witch clan. But Yunwu is only 15 years old. I'm afraid she hasn't awakened for a year. She woke up for the 4th time. This awakening is too fast, but a burden to the body. However, Chi-mo was surprised by her potential talent. However, no matter what, she is her daughter, then he will not let her die, no matter what means must not let her die. However, just at this time, a man came outside the cultivation room. Lu Zi, director of the tutor. Dean, there may be someone you need to see. Lu Zi, who came into the training room, was surprised to see Yunwu, but he still said to Chi-mo was not in the mood to brush his hand. No, don't let anyone come to disturb me during this time. Lu Zi hesitated for a moment and said, Nangong Yi is the son of the national teacher. He said that his father is in trouble today, and he has a way to solve it for the dean. His father? Today's national teacher? No one in the whole Zhou dynasty has never heard of the name of the national teacher. That South Palace E can really have a way? The pharmacist elder can't help but talk to Chi-mo. He really can't bear to waste this girl. If others really have a way, it's better to try. After hearing the speech, Chi-mo turned his head and looked at the willow. Let him in. Lu Zi looked at the cloud dance, full of doubts, but the more not too much why also turned out. Not for a moment. A white figure came in from the door of the cultivation room. Good morning, masters. Nangong Yi's voice is very gentle. However, the vision of the eyes under the white dosha has fallen on Yunwu on the stone bed, and his eyebrows are slightly wrinkled. She's not very optimistic. Can you ask the elder to go out with the dean for a while? Ask them out? Chi-mo and the pharmacist elder naturally don't agree. How can they rest assured about this, Nangong Yi? To help her, you need to take off her clothes. If the dean is with the elder, it's not convenient. Nangong Yi is not in a hurry, so he explains it gently. Take off her clothes? Chi-mo's face sinks. The eye ground sharp straight sweep in that South Temple body. Do you want to hit her idea? Nangong Yi shakes his head. White yarn under the line of sight to meet the Chi-mo. and her fate is doomed, but please believe, I will not do anything wrong to her. Chi mo smell speech along. De predestined fate? How could, well, you don't have to worry, just let him try. The seal on the girl seems to be unable to support. The pharmacist elder saw the look on Yunwoo's face with his sharp eyes, and he was busy. Chi mo finally went out with the pharmacist elder. At the moment when the stone gate closes, Bai Lao's figure also appears in the void, staring at the white Nanganji. Nanganji nodded politely to Bai Lao and said nothing. He stepped forward, took off the cloud dance coat, took off the white dosha on his head, and sat down face to face with her. Yunwoo, I'm Nanganji. Listen to what I say and do. I'll teach you how to get out, said a very gentle voice. And at the moment when his words fell, the third eye on his forehead suddenly opened. The white old man who floats on one side looks at, when he sees Nangang take down the dosha, he is stunned for a moment. But when he sees his third open eye, a color of surprise flashed across his eyes. He really is silent in the cloud dance between the two doors, the bottom of my heart also some anxious. Because another crack in that space seems to be expanding, urging her to choose. However, she did not know how to choose or not. She didn't want to give up on either. However, she could not open the two doors at the same time. The distance between the two doors was like two arcs that could not be crossed. She could only choose one. However, when the cloud dance was tangled, a gentle voice came to my mind. Nanganji? Why is he here? Don't worry, breathe first, take your time. Breathing? Cloud dance listened to the voice in the mind, originally quite anxious mood, suddenly some steady down. As he says, relax, exhale, inhale, good, very good. Now you listen to me carefully. You are the master of your consciousness. Since you don't want to choose, let your heart decide for you. It will give you what you need most. Now don't force or make do with it. Is it up to her? What do you mean? Is it to let her ignore the choice? Or Cloud Dance looked at the crack has been closer and closer, but she still did not know how to choose, still do not want to abandon the two doors. Believe me, now close your eyes, empty yourself and have a good sleep. Sleep?
How can I sleep at this time?
Cloud Dance can't help but frown, but, looking at those urgent cracks, with left and right choice, she can't help but more anxious. Forget it.
Just go to sleep.
Maybe it's better to gamble than to be in such a dilemma. As soon as Yunwoo's mind fell, he closed his eyes and began to empty his head. And the cloud dance on the stone bed, the seal force in the body, was suddenly broken and opened. Originally thought that will be crazy breath, unexpectedly in the South Palace, that forehead I twinkle purple light, begin to gradually docile down. Light purple light, gradually shrouded in the cloud body. The aura around him seems to have a sense of self-determination. He rushes into the cloud dancing body in a single dress. He is not impatient, but he keeps flowing. A narrator always looks at this scene, can't help but be surprised again. For this Nanganji, Bai Lao is the first time to meet, but for the breath of Nanganji, Bai Lao certainly feels it, which is extremely pure. Compared with the evil black of the dragon, the power of Nanganji seems to be the opposite. And the pure power of Nanganji, for the internal power of Yunwoo, can be completely integrated with each other. Is he really the other half of the future saint? As for what Bai Lao thought, Yunwoo was not clear. Cloud Dance also follows what Nanganji said and starts to empty his head and fall asleep. In her sleep, she seems to see black and white taiji figures floating on her forehead, very comfortable and soft. And in her body, there are two black and white fog-like objects that do not give in to each other. One soft and one hard. Cloud Dance is very natural. Instinctively, it moves the fog into the Tai Chi diagram. Unexpectedly, It finds that black and white match and blend with each other. It's just right as if that is one. However, what Yunwoo doesn't know is that just when she moved the fog body into the Taiji figure, she just perfectly integrated the power of Taoism and the witch family. This has never happened before. However, the fusion of the two forces, it is precisely the most suitable integration. In foreign colleges, many students today find something different. Because I suddenly felt that the aura within the college had disappeared, and it was not obvious at first, but a few hours later, the aura of the whole college seemed to be evacuated by something. This abrupt and obvious change, even a low-level sweeping grandmother can find the obvious wrong. This is not. Immediately, a lot of people began to report to the tutor. However, the statement given by the college is naturally reasonable. Even if the students are confused, they don't doubt much. The next 2 days. It doesn't matter if there is no aura in the college, but the original green plants in the college begin to turn yellow, wither, and dry. It's as if it's malnutrition, and it's draining your energy. Such a strange scene naturally made the students nervous. This kind of situation, but it has never happened. Is there anything important in the college? At the beginning, the restlessness gradually spread in the college. Make that willow sun is very busy, but don't forget to pay attention to the movement of the cultivation room. The girl, how to say, is also a good friend's granddaughter. What's more, she is a rare summoner. She is really a rare talent. I don't know what happened in the past 2 days. The dean and the elders of the inner college were all at the door, and he couldn't ask. It really worried him. However, today, he was stopped by a figure. What's the matter? Liuzi looked at the Zhou Feiyu who stopped him and asked. Zhou Feiyu has been in the college for more than a month. In this month, his strength has risen directly from the first year to the 3rd year. It's not too much to occupy the first place in foreign colleges. When will the number of places for admission to the college be available? Zhou Feiyu's voice is very low. For more than a month, this was the time when he began to be impatient. Liuzi really felt that he had a big head when he asked the question twice a day, but he was not in the mood these 2 days. 7 princes, although you are a royal family, I have answered this question many times. I can't decide whether you are elected to the inner college. You'd better wait. It's only 8 or 9 months before you choose to enter the college next year. Since you can't be the master, you can only find the elder of inner college. Zhou Feiyu said, inexplicably looked at Liuzi, then also left. Liuzi looked at his back and couldn't help frowning. What does he mean? Do you want to go to the elder of inner college by yourself? But how can the elder of the college be so easy to find? But at this time, Liuzi suddenly thought of something, and his face sank. Almost immediately, he moved his feet and chased after Zhou Feiyu. Practice outdoors. Over the past 2 days, Mo and the pharmacist elder, who were guarding the door, felt the gentle but bottomless power of absorption inside and could not help but be surprised. 2 days. Now, she is not satisfied and begins to absorb the energy from the earth. This is why the flowers and trees of the whole college began to wither. But this situation is beyond Mo's expectation. With Yunwoo's body today, Mo estimates that it should be enough to absorb at most 1 day, but it's 2 days, almost 3 days. It seems that she hasn't stopped preparing. How can her body absorb so much energy? The longer it takes, the more anxious the people outside are. What's the situation in the training room? However, just when they were so anxious to wait, a figure came in quickly from outside. Mo and the pharmacist elder's face suddenly sank, and they almost shot at the same time. I'm a junior at the college. Zhou Feiyu's deep voice suddenly rang out. Mo and pharmacist elder, just stop attacking. Students are forbidden here. Who let you in? Get out of here now. Mo, that gentle tone has changed intolerant implicit anger. And also at this time, Liuzi's figure came in a hurry. Don't be angry. I'll take him away immediately. Liuzi just wanted to reach out and catch Feiyu that week. Zhou Feiyu's eyes sank slightly. He moved his feet and avoided Liuzi's hand, so he stood in front of the pharmacist elder. I heard that you are the elder of the inner college. I came here to ask the elder how to get the qualification to enter the inner college in a period of time. He didn't want to wait. But without waiting for the response of the elder pharmacist, a shock came from the cultivation room. At first, there was not much vibration, but then there was a continuous vibration. Chi Mo and pharmacist elder C here, naturally aware of something wrong. When he had no time to pay attention to Zhou Feiyu, he immediately knocked open the door of the cultivation room and walked quickly inside. What's the matter? Worry asked a voice to just fall, but very quickly be in front of what Si to Sign Lung. The purple light in the room was dazzling. The cloud dance, which should have been sitting on the bed, is now in the purple light, floating in the air, like a deep sleep, lying flat with long hair falling down. This is a wonderful scene. In this purple light, it is obvious that there is a black and white light hovering in it. That's Yin Yang Taiji. However, it seems that the people present didn't pay much attention to that kind of unfamiliar and strange. On the contrary, what caused them to care more was the peerless appearance in the purple light. It's so similar. Chi Mo sea cloud dance, that appearance of time, the body a sign, the fist unconsciously clenched a few minutes, the fundus of the eye light deep flash over the dark color. The elder pharmacist raised his eyebrows. It turns out that this is the girl's real appearance. It's really good looking, but at his age, it's just amazing. However, compared with the old drug appreciation, Zhou Feiyu, who came in with his steps, saw the appearance of Yunwu, but it was the opposite. See him whole person, all sign lung, eyes open, big stare at the cloud dance in purple light. It's her. It's really her. At the bottom of my heart, that cold heart, as if in this moment an intense beating, deep eyes also tung up a hot color. He finally found her. This time, he won't let her run away again. Looking at the cloud dance, Zhou Feiyu was very excited at the bottom of his heart, as if he could not help coming forward step by step. Until Liuzi quickly caught him. What are you doing?
Come out with me.
The hot color in Zhou Feiyu's eyes can be seen by people with clear eyes. However, this girl, but the dean and the elders of the inner college are so nervous. This weak Feiyu is too ignorant. However, the sudden arrival of Liuzi makes Zhou Feiyu angry. Let go. The low voice was tinged with impatience. Liuzi's face doesn't look good at the moment, and Zhou Feiyu is too arrogant. With the identity of the 7 princes, do you dare to give him a look again and again? However, he did not wait for Liuzi to speak. The vibration that had calmed down suddenly began to shake away. This time, the vibration was not just in the training room, but spread from the training room to the surrounding colleges. The earthquake. Within the college, the sudden shock can be said to be an instant, so that the entire college students are scared. This is an earthquake. Leave the floor and go to the square. What happened to the college? More and more shaking vibration, the vibration, even at such a high top of the inner college, also vaguely felt. In the cabin, the old tower, sensing the fluctuation, immediately got up and was ready to go down to have a look. However, as soon as he walked out of the door, he saw the 5 elders coming quickly. Elder, why are you here? When the 5 elders said this, he swept his eyes and frowned all around. Is the pharmacist here? What's the matter? The 5 elders are in charge. They usually don't come out in such a hurry. The 5 elders didn't hide it, so they said the strange things that happened in the college in the past 2 days. The plants in the college began to turn yellow. Even the medicine garden that the pharmacist planted near the pagoda also withered, so I wanted him to go back and see what happened. Since that day, the elders sent all the elders back. The 5 elders didn't ask too much. So, I don't know, the pharmacist and Chi Mo sent Yunwu to the foreign college. At this point, the 5 elders added another sentence. Yes, just now I felt that something was wrong with the foreign college. What happened? Tower old smell speech, but didn't remember to answer, but asked a rhetorical question. That college aura has any change? Aura? 5 Eldershedway, no problem. The plan is not quite right. Reiki is okay. Smell speech. Tower old silent p-second. Just lift eyes to see 5 Elder. I temporarily can't leave here. You for me next trip outside college. Go to cloud dance that went back to inside college. Remember, must not make a big noise. Foreign college? Did Yunwoo go to foreign college? However, the 5 elders didn't have any more reasons. After answering, they went to the next foreign college. In the earthquake, the people under the purple light did not move at all. They were still sleeping peacefully, as if waiting for someone to wake her up. Nangong-yi, don't be stunned. Go, and wake her up quickly. Chi-mo reaction comes over at the moment. Hurriedly toward that South Palace, he called away. The earthquake is more and more intense. If it goes on like this, I'm afraid this training room will collapse. If the follow-up impact is big, once it affects the internal college, the consequences will be terrible. Nangong-yi didn't want to wake her up, but he tried. I can't wake up. He couldn't wake her up, which was obviously different from his father's divination. His father's divination never went wrong. Why is that? Is it because of that man? The man whose father can't predict the future? Nangongji? Zhou Feiyu heard the cry of Chi-mo and then swept his eyes to Nangong-yi beside the bed. A white dress, take off the white veil, is the clean and elegant face, but the only abrupt is an eye of his forehead, an eye with purple light at this time. Is he the son of the national teacher? Looking at Nangong-yi, Zhou Feiyu's eyes narrowed slightly. He had heard of the rumor about the son of the national master, but he had never really seen it. Unexpectedly, he had been wearing it under the white veil because it covered the extra eye on his forehead. Nangongji, wake her up. Chi-mo didn't dare to get close, but just yelled to Nangong-yi. Nangong-yi's eyes flashed by and looked up at the cloud dance. He said gently, it's useless. I've tried. As soon as I call her, the earthquake will intensify. What? Nangong-yi's words suddenly make Chi-mo a lung. How is it possible? He didn't mean that she and he were destined, and he was not afraid of her power. How could he not wake her up? However, Zhou Feiyu's eyes flashed a smile. I'll do it. As soon as he moved quickly, he danced away towards the clouds. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.